using my sister's account. She's right here next to me.
Oh, okay.
And she knows her gay brother is a big old Trump supporter. So I just wanted to hop on here and
That's interesting.
yeah, gays for Trump all day.
Okay.
Hold on one second. Okay. Are you asking questions or I don't know. I just kind of got thrown into this live.
Sure. Tell me what it is that you're supporting.
Just everything, man. His leadership, what he stands for.
Can we address like one thing at a time, if you don't mind? I got a little bit of the tism, so it's hard for me to like focus on a bunch of different topics.
Yeah. What did you want to know first?
Well, you said leadership.
Yeah.
So like when large numbers of the people around you, right, in your cabinet, on your campaign team, and so on and so forth, you know, friend groups, are arrested and plead guilty for crimes, right? Does that mean like that you're like just oblivious to what's going on and an ineffective leader, or does that mean that you're also a criminal?
No, I just think there's a lot of corruption, and I don't know how anybody could be surprised that the party who literally fought for slavery years ago and doing this kind of shit to people, excuse my language, you know, the whole thing, I'm not saying anybody's perfect. I'm not saying there's, you know, Republicans who don't do dirty stuff, but we got to be honest with ourselves. You know what I mean? Like the Democrats have a history of doing this.
Okay, cool. Let's be honest about that. So that's
you
point
know,
number two.
and
Yeah, okay, let's be honest about
and
that.
that's
Right?
what
I'm
switched
not a
me over
Democrat,
because
so I just want to start there. Hold on, pause.
I know.
Pause,
No,
pause,
I
pause.
know. I see the background and stuff, but
Hold on,
you
pause.
know,
Pause. I'm not a Democrat, so I want to make that clear. I'm a communist.
Oh no, I said I know.
I'm a proud communist, right? So I just want to make that clear. But the second thing that I want to point out is conservatives fought to conserve
Someone said
slavery.
another lazy ass black talking. Oh, okay.
Okay. Do you want to have the conversation with me, or do you want to, like, you can hop back in the comments. You can talk to them. That's fine.
Got you. Sorry about that, sir. Understood.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so conservatives fought to conserve slavery.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
In what way?
So the Democratic Party, or what we now know as the Dixiecrats, were the conservative party at the time, and the Progressive Party at the time, right, were the Republicans. Hence, Abraham Lincoln fighting for things that didn't necessarily go along with the rest of what the Union believed. And here, I'm going to give you a couple of examples, right, just so that we're on the same page. Okay, I'm going to read to you what the Democratic Party platform was at that time, just so you know. 1836 Democrats, that's when they started, right? It's the party of Democratic Party of Martin Van Buren. The Democrats were the successors of the Jeffersonian democracy. They favored localism and freedom from modern institutions, hence conservative, right? Such as banks, factories, and reform movements. So they were against Reformation. They had a commitment to states' rights. Sound familiar? A limited government, an agrarian ideal.
And that was the conservatives.
That was the Democrats of 1836. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they believed in westward expansion by the acquisition of new territories. They were made up of northern artisans who felt threatened by industry. Again, conservative. Farmers who were hurt by tariffs, and immigrants who desired to keep their own traditions, conserve their own traditions, and Southern and Westerns in favor of land acquisition. In 1836, they threw their support behind Andrew Jackson, successor of Martin Van Buren. So that was the conservative party of that time. Now, to further, substantiate that claim, I would like to read to you the 1956 Republican Party platform. Hang with me for just a second. So this was the 1956 Republican platform. Provide federal assistance to low-income communities. Does that sound like the Republican platform of today?
No, it
Gotcha.
sounds more like the
Yeah,
Democrats because the Democrats
protect
are always trying to
protect
give the
social
free
protect
handouts.
social
And we
security.
see that now.
Yeah, protect social security. Does that sound like the Republican Party of today?
That does.
Provide asylum for refugees. Does that sound like the Republican Party of the day?
It does. Legal
No,
refugees.
provide
Yeah.
asylum for refugees. The
Oh,
same
oh,
thing.
oh,
The
gotcha.
same thing that people are coming here right now seeking. Extend and expand minimum wage. Improve unemployment benefit system so it covers more people. Strengthen labor laws so workers can easily join a union. Assure equal pay for equal work, regardless of sex. That was the 1956 Republican Party platform, which is essentially the platform that this woman right here is running on currently.
And how's that going? Just out of curiosity.
How's her campaign going?
Yeah, like right
Pretty
now.
damn good. Yeah,
You
she's
really
raised
think
more
so?
money in a
No,
shorter
not
period of
about how
time
much.
than
It's not about how much
any
money she
candidate
raised.
ever.
How are we
There's been
doing? How are we doing?
there's been a 7 to 8 point swing in most states, including swing states. So yeah,
Oh
she's doing
God.
very well. There's been a record
You think
number
so,
of voter
sir?
registrations. Record number of
No,
voter
I'm
registrations.
sure there are, sir. I'm sure there are. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is?
Because people are excited about change. They don't want
What changed?
conservative
What changed?
ideologies any longer. Nobody's interested in that. Nobody's interested in the bigotry that exists within this
Right.
country any longer.
So do you think we're doing better now, right now, than we were 6 years ago, 5 years ago? I mean, just be honest with yourself. I
Well,
mean,
it depends on how you measure better.
mm,
So, like by every metric, right? We
uh-huh.
are doing
We're doing better.
substantially better. Yeah.
Sir, come on. I could see you. You don't even look like you believe it. And I'm not trying to come at you like that, but I don't know why, like, liberals and I mean, you
I'm
said
not a
you're not a
liberal.
Democrat, okay? Or
I'm not a
commie, whatever.
Democrat.
Oh, what did you say you were, a commie or
Yeah,
something?
absolutely. So here's the
Okay.
thing, right? Like I don't care about existing in the fringes. I'm not interested in it, right? Like I have very linear thought. Like I only care about what I can substantiate with facts. Anything outside of facts, I don't really give a fuck about it. I don't care about nobody's opinions. I don't care about people's feelings. Like I
Right,
just
right.
don't care. Like none of that, you know what I'm saying, like makes a difference to me. And so when I'm looking at the facts, as they stand, our
Mhm.
GDP has had record growth, right? Our labor, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's a like why do you think that is though, sir? Like what do you so have you I'm just curious. Like
You don't
do
want me
you
to answer any
really
questions? I feel like we're just rattling off questions at this
Oh
point.
no, you were no, you were saying I was just coming in and saying something. I mean, I don't but I just want to ask you like you really think you're better off right now than you were 5 years ago?
Me personally, I've been great the whole time. Like I've
That
been, you know what I'm saying? I've been
cool. And
virtually
I am
retired.
happy for
Why
Oh,
do you ask me
thank
a
you, brother.
question and then when I start talking, you start talking? How does this work?
I just said awesome, man. It's okay. Just keep going.
Yeah, like I've been, you know what I'm saying, essentially or relatively, retired for the entire time. So it's no different to me personally.
So you don't care. Okay, so
But that's not the
most
point. Like I
people
have plenty of people that I care about, right? Like people
yeah.
in the LGBTQIA plus community. And over the last 5 years, I've
What about
5 to
other
6
people
years.
that aren't in that community? What about people that aren't LGBT, whatever? Because I'm a gay man too.
Yeah,
What
sure.
about
I'm
people?
not, but I care about your existence, your
Well,
well-being, and your health.
right, but if I was straight, would you care also?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I just want to make sure because the reason I went from being a liberal to where I am now, I wouldn't
What
even
does
say
being a
Republican.
liberal even mean to you?
Mm, well, I mean, I could give my opinion on what I see, but
No.
it's
I
just
want
like,
to know what the definition of liberal is. Like, what if we were looking at the Overton window in terms of politics? What does liberal mean?
so liberal to me, what it used to be, I can't give you an exact definition, but what it used to mean was like, for example, me, I have a lot of conservative viewpoints, but I smoke weed, I go to the gay bars, I do degenerate shit, but you know what I mean? But like, so that would have been considered, let them just be free to do what they want as long as they're not harming anybody, right? But one thing I notice is that as a brown homosexual man, it's always only ever been liberals, especially white liberals. And I'm half white, so I'm not white, black, but it's always ever been a
What does half
liberal.
white mean, bro? Like you're only one race.
Well, my dad is one thing and my mom is something, so I'm a
Yes.
mix.
No, you're
So,
not mixed. That's not how race works. Mixed is not a race. Like, so you're either phenotypically black or you're phenotypically white. There's no, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not two races.
really?
Yeah,
Oh,
really.
so if
Like,
someone's
I am
Hawaiian,
multi-ethnic, right? But my race is black.
okay, so I'm multi-ethnic then.
But your
But
race is only one race. So what is your race?
so my mom is from Belize and my dad is Italian.
Okay,
And
gotcha. So you're white. Check.
even if my mom's Belizean, I mean, I guess I don't
Yeah.
know.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Is she
yeah.
Afro? Is she Afro Latin or no?
She comes from Mayan descent.
Okay, so then so yeah, so then you would be
So she's
yeah,
white because
yes
she's
you
Mayan.
yes you would be white or indigenous, depending on your
Okay.
phenotypical traits.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But I just want to know because it's only what I was saying earlier is that it's only ever a liberal who tells me because in person, I have dark skin. I have darker shade skin than you, which doesn't mean anything. It's just skin that's out of our control. But it's always a liberal. One thing I notice is that it's always them that come up to me and tell me, because you're brown, because you're gay, you're being held back. And if I say to a liberal versus a conservative, no, I'm doing pretty fine. I'm doing great. I get by life fine, whatever. No, yeah, they freak out. Like
Do you
they
know
get
what
mad at me.
exceptionalism is?
I've heard of it, but if you want to explain it, you could.
Yeah, so like I am what you would call exceptionalism, like a LeBron James, a Michael Jordan, a Oprah Winfrey, a you know George Lopez, if we were talking about the Latin community,
Oh, like the
Jennifer
acceptance of the
Lopez.
role.
Like
Yeah.
these are exceptional. This is called exceptionalism, right? So if we look at the whole of the demographic of Black people, or the whole of the demographic of Latin people, or the whole of the demographic of Indigenous people, right? The vast majority of them are suffering.
I'm
So
sorry.
just because you're not is great. Like that's amazing that you're not
Yeah.
suffering. It's amazing that I'm not suffering. I have a wealth of privileges, right? However, that doesn't mean that like the same thing that you asked me earlier. Well, do you care about the other people? Because just because you're fine doesn't mean that everybody else is fine. You dig me?
Absolutely, and I totally agree with you. I agree with that. But what I'm saying is that between the two sides, I've only ever been told by one side, "You're down here. You'll never, rise up."
I
This
don't
and
know
that.
anything about that. Like I don't know any, what I'm saying? Like I have tons of friends that are Democrats. None of them have ever tried to convince me that I was oppressed.
Oh well, well, yeah. I'm
Yeah,
not saying every
yeah,
Democrat
I've
I
never
know
I've
is
never
saying that.
actually seen anybody do that. So I mean that's
I
interesting to
have
me.
many, many times, and I'm in Los Angeles, so it's super liberal out here. It's super, you know, commie California, as they call it.
Hmm.
Um,
Do you know what
but
communism is by any chance?
you probably seem more educated on it than I do, but I do know it means control and whatever. But if you want to educate me on it, I'm all open ears.
Yeah, communism is a stateless, meaning no government, moneyless, meaning no currency, classless, because there's no currency, there's no class structure, society. So the all of these people that are like afraid of communism, China, Russia, like neither of those places are communists in the least. Just because a place has a communist party doesn't make them communist. The same way that like the Democratic People's Republic of North Korea is not democratic at all. It's a totalitarian government. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So like that's not what communism means. I implore people to start like reading books instead of like letting people like political pundits on TV tell them what to think, because it just makes you look ridiculous when you say things like "I hate communism," meanwhile supporting fascism. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, I just really know more so of like liberal and conservative and Democrat, Republican and stuff like that. From what I've heard, communism is like no control,
Of
you
course,
know.
yeah, that's it's called Red Scare.
Yeah, yeah. And listen, I'm
Yeah,
all open
Uh,
ears,
like like Martin Luther King, they said he was a communist. Malcolm X, they said he was a communist. Angela Davis, they said she was a communist. James Baldwin, they called him a communist. Fred Hampton, Huey P. Newton, Bayard Rustin, like quite literally every single person that has ever fought for civil rights in the United States of America, they've labeled them a Marxist and a communist. You know who else wanted to rid the country of Marxists and communists?
Ew.
Hitler.
Interesting. It's very interesting. Oh, and just so you know, I know you said you wanted a conversation between you and I. I did glance over to the comments. Just so everybody knows, my name's Justin and I'm using my sister's account. Just so everybody knows. Because everyone's like, wow, this is like a manly sounding girl and stuff like that. And everyone thinks that like I'm the one in the picture, but no, it's just my sister's
Yeah,
account.
so Schindler, that one of the main, like the very first people that he started to unalive were people who he deemed Marxists and communists.
Okay. Well, I did not know that. That's, you know.
Yeah. And so like, I think that it's important for us to like look at the parallels and really analyze how we could potentially be, recreating historical events, especially in this moment. I mean, I hear what you're saying in terms of like the economy. COVID, had devastating effects, devastating impacts globally.
Yeah.
But there's some
Yeah.
things that we can literally point to right here in the United States as to why things are expensive, why things
Yeah.
increased in price. One of
Yeah.
those things, like if we were to look at oil specifically, Donald Jimothy Trump went to OPEC and said, "Hey, I want you guys to put a moratorium on oil refining. I want you to slow down oil refining because the prices plummeted because nobody was driving, so they weren't using the oil." So like oil, the price per barrel dropped to the depths of hell. And people were losing money. Billionaires like himself were losing money. They oil companies in the United States were literally going bankrupt. And so he asked OPEC to limit oil production. They cut it by 10%, which was 10 million barrels a day. And so when the country opened back up, there was not as much supply as we would typically have, but the demand was high. And so gas prices shot through the roof. And that can be directly attributed to Trump. And if you don't believe me, I can quite literally play you commentary from one of the Shell executives saying exactly that. That if you want to look at prices of food at the grocery stores, Trump thought it was a great idea to start a trade war with China. And so legacy farmers whose largest cash crops were like corn and soy that they would send over to China, China wasn't taking it anymore. And so he tried to bail out the farmers, but it was too little too late. And so these legacy farmers, and by legacy farmers, I mean farmers that that this farm had been in their family for, generations, right? Had to sell out. And they sold out to these major corporations, to your Tysons and your Purdue's and stuff like that. So these local grocery stores, like here in Florida, it would be Publix, that would normally get their produce, their dairy, their meat from farms right here in Florida. Now they had to buy it from major corporations. And so, of course, the price is going to be, inflated. And so when people go to the grocery store and their milk and their eggs and their meat and their produce is more expensive, they're like, yo, what the fuck is going on? And we can literally draw a direct correlation, to this mishandling of, economy. And then in addition to that, like moving away from that, he totally fucked us with the pandemic. Oh, it's just the flu. It's no big deal. It'll be gone, in a couple of months. It'll be gone when it warms up. Yeah, absolutely.
Who do you see nowadays, liberals or conservatives? Who do you see nowadays still acting as though COVID is such a serious thing and they have their mask on and you know what I mean? Like
I don't know. I live in Florida, bro. I don't see anybody doing that.
Okay. But who do you think, from what I'm sure, you see things that go on in other places, who do you think
I don't
is
watch
more
TV, so I don't know.
Sir, beyond, come on.
Oh, no, I'm being honest. I don't watch television, so I don't know.
Okay, okay. Let me just ask you this: who do you think is more ride or die COVID vaccine mask wearing? Who do you think that is? I'm actually.
I don't know.
Genuine...
People that are well educated,
Sir,
I guess.
Come on.
Yeah, people that are educated.
Educated. Didn't you just see that hearing with Dr. Fauci? How they're calling him out, saying that all this was unnecessary. We did not need the vaccines. There's a bunch of people with blood clots. Like you didn't see, he actually just got his ass ridden for that.
Did Fauci create a vaccine that I don't know about?
Or not, or whoever created the vaccine, the liberal.
So it sounds like you don't know what you're talking about. I thought that Trump was like being heralded as the great savior for Operation Warp Speed for making the vaccine, like having the vaccine made
Yeah,
so quickly.
he even took the vaccine, I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course he did.
But what I'm saying is though, is that what side do you see that's like anti-vax? No, I'm not putting that jab in my arm. And what side do you see that's like just got my 5th jab? Like just be honest with yourself.
Well, no, I
Who
like, yeah. So I see uneducated people, who think that they're smarter than doctors and smarter than scientists, right?
hmm
And then I see that educated people that are going to side with, the
You mean
doctors and the
pharmaceutical
scientists.
companies that work and partner with,
No, no, doctors
McDonald's?
and scientists.
Right, right. But what I'm
Yeah.
saying is though, is that, you haven't seen all these hearings coming out about like people getting caught, BSing the whole COVID and 6 feet apart thing. Like you haven't seen
No,
that?
so 6 feet apart and masks in conjunction absolutely works. As a matter of fact, that protocol has existed in hospitals and in transmission prevention for eons. I'm talking about, this is like not new information. This is something that we've done for years and years and years. This is quite literally why there was a pandemic response team that Trump thought it was a good idea to throw out, and a pandemic response playbook.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we
Not.
could agree to disagree. I've seen otherwise, maybe our algorithms are just different. Hear me out. Hold on a second. Hear me out. I respect you. I'm glad I got on here. My sister needs her phone back, and keep doing what you're doing.
Well, have a good night.
You too, man.
Oh, please don't run. Oh, good God. How you doing, bro?
Hanging out, man. You had some water today?
I did. Yeah. Yeah.
Glad to hear. Hey, guys, keep
good.
tapping that screen. Let's get to 100K likes as quickly as we possibly can. Let's share the live. Remember to gift the panel if you agree with them. If you would like to support me, my Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal are all in my link tree in the bio. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you hanging out and supporting me. What's up, man? What do you want to talk about?
Absolutely. This host right here is.
I'm
the
sorry, I didn't
most
hear you.
Versatile one.
Hold on 1 second, please.
How y'all doing? I guess you can't hear me.
Sorry, my daughter was calling my phone. So what's up?
No, you're good. You are an amazing host, dude. Let me tell you something.
Well, I appreciate
Period.
that. Thank you.
Facts right off the hook.
Okay. What is it that you wanted to talk about? So somebody
Well, I
asked,
mean,
I don't
everybody's
typically, I don't, hold on 1 second, American Badass. Somebody said, why vote for the granddaughter of a slave owner? I'm glad you asked that question. 85% of black people in the United States of America can trace their ancestry back to a slave owner. 85% of us. I have a slave owner in my family. And almost every other black person has a slave owner in their family because of grape. So that's not the flex that you guys think it is. It's kind of weird that you guys keep bringing that up. I'm going to be honest with you. It's almost like you don't know shit about history. Anywho. Like, how do you think we got the last names that we got? So weird. So weird that y'all say that. Hey, American Badass, if I don't know that, you know what I'm saying, like you have something that you wanted to talk about specifically. But
Yeah, I got muted.
yeah, I muted you because I was trying to
didn't
answer a
say-
question
I
really
did
quickly.
I did not say any of that. I didn't say anything.
Oh, no, I
about
wasn't
what
talking to you,
just
buddy.
said.
Yeah, I wasn't talking to you.
Oh, I got muted, and that's not what I come in here to do. I didn't come in here to do that.
Okay, friend, what is it that you want to talk about? Like, I'm giving you the opportunity to speak. Like, what's up?
Okay, great. I mean, I got muted on behalf of, you said that I had so much hate.
How are you today?
What's up, buddy? How are you?
Not bad.
Glad to hear it. You had some water and said something kind about yourself?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, thank you.
Glad to hear it. What do you want to talk about?
Well, you said earlier that Kamala, people ready
Kamala.
for a change, right? Kamala said that people ready for a change. I mean, what change? She from California, man. That's been a deep blue sea for over.
Who else we got? T, what's going on? How are you? Have you had some water and said something kind about yourself?
Yo, yeah, I'm doing good, man.
Glad to hear. Are you a Trump supporter?
Nah, I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm all for Kamala.
All right, cool. I'm looking for people that are Trump supporters. Rhea, are you a Trump supporter?
Are either of them going to end the G side?
She said that she is going to do everything that she can, provided that, you know, we can get her to the House and the Senate to force a ceasefire, or at least stop funding it. She's been vocal about wanting a ceasefire against Joe Biden for many months now.
After being complicit in it for 10 months.
You do understand that she's the vice president and holds no institutional power. She can't unilaterally decide to end, you know what I'm saying, us funding it. All of that comes from Congress. So even if she said that she wanted it to stop, Congress quite literally could continue it anyway.
But Candace Owens has definitely been more vocal than she has. You can't argue with that, right?
I don't know. I don't listen to Candace Owens. Like I do everything in my power not to hear her voice ever.
Okay. Well, when G side is bipartisan, how can we still sit here and say that there's a lesser of two evils, though? Because I watched when BB came and spoke in front of Congress, a bipartisan Congress, and they were reaching over to touch on him like it was Jesus walking down that aisle. Standing ovation after standing ovation. He basically called our protesters, saying that they were being funded by a T group. And she backed that up, condemning the protesters with a statement that she released right afterwards. And she's taken APAC money, which means
I don't
she
think
has
I don't think that
millions
she
of reasons to
condemned
think that they want her to do
the
it.
protesters at all. Matter of fact, let's read her statement.
Guys, I'm not a fan of Candace, but she has stood on more business than Harris or AOC or Bernie or even Katie Porter when it comes to the G side. I gotta admit, even I was surprised by it. Guys. I'm not a fan, but she has stood on more business than all of them. That's a fact. Not an opinion, unfortunately.
Yeah, I like I said, I don't listen to Candace. Like I do everything that I can not to hear anything she has to say.
I just have a lot of pro-Pally content, and she.
No, I dig it.
Pretty vocal,
you know what?
so
You know what
that's-
really
you know what I mean?
bothers
That's why I
me.
catch
You know
it.
what really bothers me personally, Rhea. You know what really bothers me personally is that I've been speaking about what is going on in Gaza since probably like 2015, 2016. And now we have all of these new people that jumped on the bandwagon on October 7th, right? And now they're acting like this is the most important, fight of their life. What bothers me about that is that Black people, indigenous people, women, and other people of color right here in the United States have been getting, fucked over for decades, and we haven't even fought for ourselves this hard.
Oh,
So
that's absolute. I think that when G side is televised and we're able to watch that
Right,
level
G
of
side
violence
has
on
been
our phone,
taking.
it does. It
We've
does
been
change
taking
things.
part
I
of a
never
G
thought I'd
side.
sit on my phone and watch something like
Yeah,
that.
right. We've been taking part of
Absolutely.
a G side right here in the United States of Black people,
Absolutely,
literally for
for
hundreds of years,
for hundreds
and
of
everybody
years,
kept
hundreds of
voting,
years, and before
and
that,
everybody
it was our
kept voting,
indigenous brothers and sisters.
and everybody kept voting.
Absolutely, and honestly, to be honest with you, I spoke at a protest for social justice 2 years ago, and I recommended the same thing then that I've been recommending since all this started, and that's an economic revolution. Because if we're being honest,
Well, I'm
we
a
fund it
communist. I think I
collectively.
made this clear many times.
We fund it collectively. All we have to stop doing is spending money on anything unnecessary, build community, and share with each other, and we would solve all of our problems here and everywhere else. Because our foreign policy, our government's foreign policy, is to carry out coups, prop up dictators, exploit labor, and exploit resources on a global level.
Absolutely.
And if we, the citizens, are not going to hold our government accountable for that, no one is.
Right.
But when you have an ICJ ruling on G-side and apartheid, and our government's ignoring an ICJ ruling, the implications of that are
I was on the
major.
news in the UK. I was on the news in the UK speaking to some right-wing political pundits, arguing that very same point. This was just a couple of weeks ago. I mean, I could play the audio for you guys if you wanted to listen to it. It's like 10 minutes, but I'll probably do that some other time. But yeah, I was just on the news recently, like I said, in the UK, speaking on that very thing, defending, the Palestinians. But again, my problem is that people have taken up this mantle, acting as if, a third party is viable, number one. And number two, acting as if, Donald Trump wouldn't turn Gaza into a parking lot if he was elected president.
Well, I'm not arguing that point. I just think that a lot of what Harris says are false promises. Like most politicians, when they run on false promises. Didn't Biden run on codifying Roe and didn't move towards that at all in 3.5 years?
Well, he said
the first time he didn't mention
Roe,
codifying Roe.
Roe hadn't even been overturned yet when he was elected. Number one, and
but
number
has he
two,
spoke on it since it was that he was going to codify
yeah, but
it?
he hasn't. He would have to have the majority in the Senate. Like how legislation is passed, right?
Well, I do. I wish we had focused more on cleaning up House than the presidency, honestly, because we have 400 and something seats up, all of the House and 1/3 of the Senate, and I was trying to push that, but we're told to focus on 2 different people running instead of the hundreds of people that actually.
I don't tell people that at all. As a matter of fact,
money from lobbyists and things like that.
Yeah, no, I talk about the opposite. I tell people I don't give a fuck whether you vote for the president or not. What you need to be focused on is your local elections and your state and federal level elections, because those are the ones that impact your life the most. I think we also need to be focused
on our collective economic power, which is pretty substantial. If we are willing to just reach out and take it back,
I am a communist.
America.
So I feel like you're kind of preaching to the choir.
I just don't think that Harris really. I don't know. I'm just not buying into the fear for Project 25. I feel like a lot of that legislation has been passing for years, even before they came out with it. And I just think that.
So we should just allow fascism to ensue in our countries.
No, it's already here. It's already here.
I mean, obviously,
we should come up with something better than voting for another person.
So what is your okay? So great. So what is your solution then, friend?
Stop spending money, build community, and share. Push that.
Okay.
Just push that.
So you would need over 30%
as much as you can.
Yeah. So you would need over 30% of the population. How are you personally going to be able to rally 30% of the population?
No, but if creators like you with the platform to do it, if y'all started pushing it, I mean, look at what we have been able to push through.
Ma'am, you don't think that I work on these things on a daily basis? Have you ever watched my platform before?
I'm glad to hear that you do.
Have you ever watched my platform before?
Unfortunately, I haven't come across it before tonight, so I'm glad I'm here so I can follow you and check out some more of your content.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's probably like like the best bet. Is to listen and watch my content. I think that would probably be the best bet.
I'm just concerned that we're going to get Harris in office and then go back to sleep collectively.
I won't. I won't.
I hope right, but collectively.
But I'm not going to sit back. I'm not going to sit back and rest on my laurels.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that.
Sure, but I'm not going to sit back and rest on my laurels and let a rapist and a fascist, assume the office again.
Harris is just as fascist though. When G side is bipartisan, everybody.
I feel like you're not listening, and it's irritating me at this point. Like, we literally can't point, you know what I'm saying, to any fascistic nature in Kamala Harris, but, you know, go off, I guess. Ethan, what's going on, man? How are you?
Hey, what's up, man?
Hanging out. Have you had some water, said something kind about yourself?
Say that again?
I said, have you had some water and said something kind about yourself?
Yeah, I actually like that. I like that you start off like that. Maybe we can start off like this. Can you say something nice about Donald Trump?
Yes, Donald Trump lifted the curtain and showed us who we really are as Americans. He showed us that, you know, racism, misogyny, transphobia, homophobia, xenophobia are all real problems in the United States that need to be addressed. And if we don't start actively participating in the political process, that fascism can take over the country and harm thousands, if not millions, of individuals. So yeah, he did a great job with that.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that. It's just a bunch of these political content creators are just, I've noticed that they're just spewing hate. You can't say one nice
Thank you,
thing
Brandy.
about a human being. There's a problem. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Does Trump regularly say nice things about people or not?
Does he regularly say nice things about people?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, yeah. What kind of question is that?
Are you serious?
Do you hear him talk?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. And what kind of stuff does he say?
He calls people Sleepy Joe, Lion Ted, Lion Kamala, Pocahontas, Kung Flu, China virus. She looks like a dog. She's too ugly for me to have raped. They're my blacks. Look at my blacks. They don't look like Indians to me. I mean, do you want me to keep going or not?
Right.
I'm not a liberal, guys. So you can save me the feigned outrage.
See, this is the problem, though.
What's the problem?
You can't see
that I pointed
both,
that I pointed out.
See both. You can't say one nice thing about somebody.
I did already.
You were being fake about that.
I mean, that's a positive thing that he did.
You're just like all of them. Everyone.
Hold
else.
on, Fred. Hold on. You're asking me as a father, right? As a father of, you know, several girls, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have a bunch of daughters, right?
Cool.
You're asking me to say nice things about a person that's been adjudicated for rape, that quite literally went on a national syndicated television show and said that he goes in the dressing room of 15 to 19-year-old girls while they're naked, you know what I'm saying, to inspect them. And he can do that because, you know, he owns the pageant. What kind of 50-year-old buys a teen pageant is weird in and of itself. You're asking me to say kind things, right, about a man who says that he grabs women by the vagina and kisses them in the mouth without their consent. I'm sorry, I just can't bring myself to do that.
See, but in your head, you know that all of this is fabricated. It's all a plot. When you have that type of money like he does.
Hi, I'm Nicole.
With Howard Stern now making headlines. Trump talking about how he had free reign at his beauty pageants.
I'll go backstage before a show. Yes. And everyone's getting dressed and ready. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant and therefore I'm inspecting it. Is everyone okay? You know, they're standing there with no clue. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible looking women. And so I sort of get away with things like that.
Today, a former Miss Arizona, who calls herself a conservative, going public in an interview with KCBS, describing what she says happened backstage with Trump at a Miss USA pageant.
Our first introduction to him was when we were at the dress rehearsal and half naked, changing into our bikinis.
Tasha Dixon detailing her discomfort.
To have the owner come waltzing in when we're naked, or or half naked in a very physically vulnerable position, and then to have the pressure of the the people that work for him telling us to go fawn all over him, go walk up to him, talk to him, get his attention.
She describes feeling helpless.
Who do you complain to? He owns the pageant. So there's no one to complain to. Everyone there works for him.
Okay, so thanks for playing that for me. So all he did was walk backstage, right?
While they were naked, without warning.
Did she say naked or half naked?
Naked.
Did she? 'Cause I heard
He
half
said they're
naked.
standing there with no clothes on. Do you want me to play it again? He
Yeah,
said
play
it
it
out of
again.
his own mouth.
Play it again.
Okay.
Play it again.
Sure.
A past interview with Howard Stern now making headlines. Trump talking about how he had free reign at his beauty pageants.
I'll go backstage before a show. Yes. And everyone's getting dressed and ready. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is
They're
everybody
standing
okay?
there with no clothes.
Because the girl who was talking said half naked, right?
She said naked and half naked. She
so
said
do
both.
you really think the man would be back there if there were a bunch of 15 to 19-year-olds?
He literally
naked?
just said it. He literally just
I
said they're
see my daughter's
standing
naked
there
all the
with
time.
no
She got
clothes.
shorts on.
He literally just said they're standing there with no clothes.
See, this is the problem with you people. All you do is
The man's literally saying the shit out of his own mouth, and you sitting there arguing with me. It's crazy. I don't even understand this shit. Like, y'all can't be fucking for real. What's up, JC? How are you? Have you had some water and said something kind about yourself? JC, are you there? Hey, guys, keep tapping that screen. Let's get to 200, 250K likes. Also, if you want to support the platform, you can find my Cash App, PayPal, and Venmo, all in the link tree in my bio. That's the best way to support me. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you. You can consider subscribing. Also, we have a gift goal as usual. If you subscribe, you get access to the Discord. JC, are you there? I'm gonna give you a couple of seconds, and then I'm gonna drop you. I work for myself, for those of you who keep asking. I have for many years. Okay. What's up, Liam? How are you? You got some water and said something kind about yourself?
What's that?
I say, have you had some water and said something kind about yourself?
I don't believe so.
Oh, no. Alicia, thank you so much for the $10 Venmo. I appreciate your support.
I was going to start out by saying congratulations on your live. It seems like you got a successful one going here.
They're always like this, buddy.
Okay, well.
I appreciate it, though. Thanks. Thanks for the congratulations.
Yeah, I'm definitely not a Harris supporter.
Yeah!
So I'll be voting for Trump. I mean, this term, my vote will count. Or this up-and-coming election, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, I'll give you my reasons. I just wanted to ask you your reasons why you're backing, the Democratic Party. Do you have some big things that you like and don't like about? I would like to hear where your mind is going with this.
Yeah. I'm not a Democrat at all, right? As a matter of fact, I prefer that we have, a Bernie Sanders type candidate in office. However, I have to operate within the system that exists in this nation, right? And so because I have to operate in the system in which exists in this nation, then I need to focus on what is the best possible solution for, my children, my family, the people that I love and care about, and the people that I share community with.
Okay. All right, I get that. I'm sure you can tell me why the reasoning is behind all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I don't think that she's really qualified to take that seat
That's hilarious.
in office, dude. That's just
That's
crazy.
hilarious. That's absolutely hilarious.
How? I mean, how is she qualified?
She was a district attorney for 2 different counties in California. She was a prosecutor. She was the attorney general twice. She was a senator twice. And then she was the vice president of the United States. She went to law school. I mean, she did her job, you know, in terms of law. She's introduced and written numerous pieces of legislation. She's absolutely qualified. She's been to 38 countries and met with over 200 world leaders. So this idea that she's not quite like this, bro's a felon. He can't even leave the damn country. So, yeah, she's qualified.
Yeah, I mean, dude, she just seems, I mean, she's definitely going to make some mistakes. I know that she's new at this.
You mean like starting a trade war with China and bankrupting farmers across America, having Harley Davidson leave, having coal plants cut by 25%, losing steel jobs, losing tens of thousands of steel jobs? You mean like those kind of mistakes? You mean like lying about the pandemic so that you know what I'm saying, hundreds of thousands of people die?
You're word vomiting a little bit here, but that's cool. It's your opinion. You do what you want. But anyway, dude, all of that stuff that you just stated is making
money gun
United States more independent to its own. You know, we're not reliant upon any other countries as far as the
we are. We're energy independent currently. We're energy independent currently.
Listen, I understand.
Yeah, we're energy independent currently. We drill more oil and have more oil leases than any other nation. Than any other nation on the planet. We produce more oil. We drill more oil than ever in American history. We have been energy independent since Obama. I don't know why you guys keep saying these things. As a matter of fact, you know what I suggest, right? I suggest you guys like start looking at the EPA yourself. Like looking at these things yourself and reading this information yourself instead of having people tell you what to think and what to believe, because this shit just makes you like, there's 3,200 people in here and you just look ridiculous in front of a whole bunch of people.
How do I look ridiculous?
Because you just said we need to be energy independent, as if we aren't already. We're a net exporter.
I never said anything about energy. You just put those words in my mouth.
What did you just say? So that we didn't have to get it from other people?
You never said anything about energy. You were talking about steel. You were talking about farmers. We never said anything about fuels. What are you talking about?
All right. Go ahead.
So, yeah, you threw words in my mouth and tried to make me look stupid. What are you talking about?
I'm sorry, buddy.
That's why I said stop word bombing it. Remember? Okay, so back to the soybean.
Hey, Liam, I feel like we got off on the wrong foot, bro. I feel like we got on the wrong foot. So I want to let's try it again. Liam, tell me a little bit about yourself. Like, where are you from? How'd you grow up?
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck, bro. What's up, Jared? How are you? You had some water and said something kind about yourself?
Man, if I was any better, I'd have to cancel my life insurance policy.
I love that. I like that.
Yeah.
What's going on,
how are you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. Can't complain.
Good. So I try to be as objective as possible. So this is sort of a subjective intro here. So number one, they don't teach civics in school. Number two,
they don't teach what? I'm sorry, I missed it. I'm sorry. What did you say? Civics. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha.
Schoolhouse Rock, all that. I have a parent, or I should have said relative, but whatever, who is a retired Supreme Court justice, state, not federal. So I kind of have a unique perspective on this in terms of civics. Look, gun to head, based on the two-party system, I would vote for Trump over Kamala, right? Mm-hmm. So in 2020, I didn't vote for either, if that gives you an idea. And
I didn't vote in 2020 either.
I don't blame you, man. I don't blame you, right? But my question to you is, and somebody kind of put it on this. Somebody about 20 minutes ago asked about, can you say anything nice about Trump? This is just an observation from my perspective.
Hey,
and
just
I'll
ignore
sort of
the noises I make. It's not. I can still hear you, and it's not personal. I promise.
No, it's all good, man. Make that money. But my question to you is first of all, you know, I've never been on this podcast. Matter of fact, I've never done anything like this. But you're outstated that you're a communist, and I tend to lean on the capitalist side. So we can go ahead and kind of understand each other from there. Unfortunately, there is a two-party system, and I'm not going to say necessarily there is, unfortunately, an electoral college or an electorate, but that does play a lot into politics, right? Especially on the federal level. So this is just an observation, and I want to hear your honest opinion about this. So I've heard a lot of people who are supporting Kamala, which is the Democratic nominee, right? Opposed to Trump, which is, you know, historically a New York Democrat. That parent that I had, and by the way, I'm from the state of Alabama, so you can do your due diligence on this. But which, as you know, is an extremely red state, right? Does my vote even matter? No, it doesn't. Probably. Let's be real about that. So the reality of it is that she actually was sworn in as a Democrat. She swapped over to the Republican Party. Now, this is her opinion, but the reason why she did that was because in her mind, the Democratic Party was slicing. They were playing demographics, which is a smart thing to do as a strategist if you're trying to gain votes. So the black vote would be this, the female vote would be that, the Hispanic vote would be this, males, females, all these sort of things come into a how do we market, and that's what it is. It's marketing. So the biggest observation. This would be my question to you. One guy asked, you know, again, can you say something positive about Trump? My question to you would be, why are most of the people who are supporting, quote unquote, Kamala are talking more about Trump than they are their nominee? And I'll shut up and listen.
Yeah, I personally don't. Right. So, I mean, I can tell you a vast array of things that Kamala has talked about and is fighting for that mean a ton to me personally. Right. And so
sure, go ahead. I'm listening.
So
I've never heard one person
I
know. And again, I live in Alabama, right? So they're far and few between. So let's just be real about that, right? Texas is going to be red. California is going to be blue. I don't know what the heck New York is, but that's a whole nother conversation. What would some of the examples that you mentioned be as far as the right person for the executive position at the federal level?
Yeah. So here's one of the things that people complain about the most right now in you know what I'm saying, like in America, right? They're complaining that they can't afford housing, that they're struggling, you know, to afford housing. Something that I talk about on a regular basis is 1 in 5 children go to bed without food every night. Over 60% of American citizens are $500 to $1,000 away from abject poverty, meaning if their car breaks down, quite literally, that could be it for them, and they could be in the streets, you know, they could be evicted, or if they have a medical emergency, they could be evicted, right? And these are truths that these are things that have been in existence right now for the last over a decade, right? Because of capitalism. We can, you know, point specifically to capitalism, corporate greed, corporations like Walmart and Amazon, you know, those primarily because they're the largest single, you know, site employers that don't hire employees full time and don't pay them, you know, a livable wage and don't provide health insurance for them and things of that nature, right? And so she's saying that anybody who makes under $100,000 would get a $6,000, right? $6,000 tax deferment. So that means they get an additional $500, you know, a month over the course of the 12 months, right? And then we would create affordable housing programs through HUD specifically for these people. so that they can have a home, so they can have more money in their pocket. And so that they can start establishing themselves, because everybody knows that the way that you establish wealth and of any kind, and especially generational wealth, is through real estate. It's through owning, your own home.
100%.
Yeah. Then expanding healthcare benefits so that more people are insured. The number one cause of debt in the United States of America is medical debt. It's the number one cause of bankruptcy.
And just to make sure we both agree, usually it's a catastrophe. It's a single situation that takes place that wipes you out, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay.
Typically.
Okay. Awesome. Keep going.
Well, not necessarily. Like in many cases, yes, but not always. Because sometimes it's diabetes medication being too expensive. You find out you have cancer and you can't afford the treatment for your cancer.
Fair enough.
So situations like that. COVID was a big one. A lot of people have like long-lasting effects, respiratory issues, GI issues, so on and so forth. So it can be a one major health event, but often it's just keeping up with maintenance care a lot of times.
Right.
But it's the number one. It's the number one cause of debt in the United States of America. Right.
Yeah. And and what's so funny is, man, this is an example of me trying to be objective, right? Mm-hmm. So you mentioned you don't watch television. I don't watch the news. I have a Roku. But one of my favorite people to listen to is Bill Maher, right? Me and him completely disagree on most things. But one of the things that he has mentioned, right, is talking about the difference between kind of the things I've talked about civics. He's a history major, so he goes back and look at history to confirm or validate the things he is saying. One of the main concerns that I have is, and I think he's brought this up, is that because of the two-party system, look, you may be a supporter of Kamala, all right? I am not necessarily a supporter of Trump, and I'm not talking about the lesser of two evils. Mm-hmm. I think this is at the crux of what we're talking about. I don't know if Kamala is a communist. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's something that I mentioned earlier is every single person, especially from the Black community in American history, that has fought for equity, not equality, equity, meaning that people
understand.
I understand. Has been called a communist. Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, Huey P. Newton, Fred Hampton, Angela Davis, James Baldwin. The list literally goes on and on and on. Every single one of them labeled a Marxist and communist. Every single one, right. Which is wild to me. In addition to that, the other person in history that said that we have to rid the country of Marxists and communists, the boogeyman, was Hitler.
Right. Yeah, I hear you. So, and by the way, I want to talk about the new world, not the old world. I got you though, 100%.
But no, we can't. You were just telling me about history, Fred. If we're going to ignore,
I understand.
If we're going to ignore the parallels, right? If we're going to ignore the inferences, then it's going to we're going to walk right into the exact same type of situation.
Which goes back to capitalism versus fascism and communism, right? Trump's a fascist. Kamala, I don't know what she is. So here's
Kamala is just left of center, friend.
Right. Fair enough, right? And that's relative too, because she lives in California. Is that fair?
Yeah. Well, see, here's the thing, though. Cool. This country, like in reference to the Overton window, right? In reference to the Overton window, this country has moved so far to the right that they don't even know what the left actually is, because the left here in the United States is like, comparatively, like I guess they would consider every other industrialized nation far left. Switzerland, Sweden.
Well, that's a relative comment, right? So my belief is that the reality of the situation is it's more a bell curve and less a vertical line. This goes back to my two-party argument. You're either for this party or that party, and that's how it works, right? I mean, good luck in the electoral college or even in the popular vote trying to vote for an independent and it going, or any third party, if you want to call it that. But here's my question to you. You mentioned communism. There's a fine line between socialism and communism. I do believe in capitalism as the best amongst the things that are available, the ideologies that we know. So Bush did the exact same thing after 9/11. He gave a $600 stimulus, right? I don't care what you call it, whether it's a tax refund, a stimulus. My background's in economics. And so what my fear is based off of, and I know this for a fact because I've studied a lot of this, GDP, which is one of the major factors that we use to dictate the strength or the weakness of our economy.
Yeah.
Right, is based off of how much money we spend, right? Well, there's a couple of problems with that.
Well,
that
also the product we produce.
Fair enough. I got you on that, right? And when you outsource, you talked about the Walmarts, you know, everybody knows that you're going to Walmart not because you support American jobs. You're going to Walmart because it's the cheapest price. That's why you're going there.
Yeah, because they've gotten rid of all the mom and pop shops, and you don't really have much of a chance.
Amen, brother. Got you 100%. So, and I love mom and pop over big business, and I'm a capitalist, right? So I'm a bigger believer in small business versus you getting too big and then having too many fish to fry. So my question to you is if supply and demand, which is the basis of economics, says that when you introduce more money into circulation, you devalue the purchasing power of each dollar. We've seen both Republicans and Democrats do this. And the reason why I bring this up is because you mentioned $500 a month for Kamala.
600.
Well, 600.
Oh,
okay,
yeah, 500.
right.
Yeah, you got 500. You're right.
Yeah, I thought you said 500.
Yeah, it was 500.
No, it's all
You're
good.
Right. You're right.
But my concern is math is math, right? And there's two different ways to look at math. 0 to 1 is 1, right? Well, I could argue it's infinity because it could be 1/2, 1/3, 1/4, 1/5, so on and so forth. Well, you and I can only denominate a dollar bill down to 100 pennies, right? And so when we look at things like prime, all these sorts of things, the circulating amount of money, you and I only have a denomination of 100. But if you're playing fractions, and this is what Alan Greenspan did way back in the day when they called him God with a lowercase g, if you start creating markets, this was really well put in The Big Short, if you've ever seen that movie. It's a great movie. Yeah, it's a great movie. One of my favorites. You know, even Steve Carell said, you know, I have a feeling that when Hank Paulson and Ben Bernanke come out, right, and there's going to be a bailout, I got a feeling that they're going to blame poor people and immigrants. Dude, I mostly agree with that comment. It's unfair, but that's what ends up happening because ultimately the taxpayer and the poor person is going to pay for that. So my question to you is this, and this is where I'm going with this, just as a money guy, because you and I and every single other person that's listening on this thing, we got to eat. We got to pay our bills. So how is that $500 a month? And I don't know, maybe it's for a definite time, maybe it's for 1 year, maybe it's indefinitely. But how is the solution to inflation? I know that's a buzzword today, but how is the solution to inflation? That is the increase of the money supply going to be fixed with more money back in circulation.
We're not. Yeah, but see, here's the problem, right? We're not actually facing true inflation, right? Like we have a fiat currency, and I know you know this. So fiat currency is based on the faith. You know what I'm saying? That not only the American citizens have, but the global economy.
Credit of the United States government, and I don't trust my government.
Economy, yeah, great, but the global economy has the American dollar. Well, nobody's losing faith. You know why they can't? Because we have the world's strongest and most powerful military. So we literally, if we wanted access to resources, we would just take it anyway. Right.
Correct.
So this is corporate price gouging that we're experiencing. It's not inflation. It's not true inflationary causation. Right. And so with that being said, if we were to give these people $500 a month, right, and actually put in place consumer protections, but not only that, stop overfunding, things like the military, then we could easily make sure that we're taking care of American citizens, and stop giving corporations and rich people fucking tax breaks.
Hey, I hear you, man. Dick Cheney and Halliburton. I hear you 100%. So my concern is, and I'll end it with this, and then let you finish it up. But my concern is, businesses have special treatments. Let's be rich. Let's be real. The rich get richer, and the poor and middle class get poorer.
That's the problem. Thank you, Taylor. I appreciate you. That's the problem with capitalism.
I would actually make the argument that the middle class doesn't exist. It's a two-tier economic system. So if we're just taking all of this off the table, right? And by the way, it's a two-party system too. It's unfortunate, but that's just the way it is. So my main concern is that you have one of two choices, right? Bernie Sanders to me, I actually made this comment before. Bernie Sanders is to the left what Ron Paul, not Rand, but Ron is
Paul,
to the
yeah.
right. Exactly, right? One's a libertarian, one's progressive, right? I actually wish they put both of those people into a room and figure out the legislative branch. Like
Alicia,
honestly,
thank you so much for the $10 Venmo.
So my question to you would be is this: if we are going to print more money, right? And by the way, I'm sure you saw what happened today, right? The stock market crashed. Apparently,
I wish people would stop saying that. It's so hyperbolic. It's so hyperbolic.
Let me rephrase my statement, okay? It dropped 3 to 6% depending on what index, whatever you're looking at. That's not a crash, right?
That's not at all. And the only reason they did that is because they're trying to force the Fed to lower the rates.
Interest rates, which apparently they did, and I got you.
Yeah, so now, this was billionaires. This was billionaires forcing their hand. That's all it was. It's not a crash.
I got you. But those billionaires are going to be okay.
Right.
It's like Pfizer. It's like Pfizer making a drug. They make $2 billion, and they go to court, and
you can only hit record highs but so many fucking times.
Right. So I got you. That's So anyway, so my main concern is, the biggest concern that I have is that what's ultimately going to happen if you let the government take over. And I'm bigger. You had somebody that mentioned local government over federal government.
Yeah, that was me.
Amen. Well, it was somebody you actually had talking about. I think you said clandestines. I thought that was pretty funny. But my main concern is that if you understand supply and demand, and you understand that, and by the way, you talk about the poor and the middle class. Everybody knows, they hear it at the end of every commercial, right? When interest rates rise, prices fall, and vice versa. It's supposed to be an inverse relationship, because that's what it was up until about 2008.
Until we gave corporations the right to operate as people.
But corporations are going to be fine, man. They're going to be fine because they know how to play the game. They make $1 billion, they go to court, they pay a $300 million fine. They still got $700 million, right? And people know this, and they're frustrated about this. But those rates that are changing, I don't understand the fact that prices have gone up. The same exact day that prices fell, and I'm with you, it was anywhere from 3 to 6%, depending on what index you looked at. At the same time, interest rates fell. And what I see that as, I know this is a conversation about Trump and Kamala, but in my opinion, I don't know, again, if Kamala is I do believe she's a socialist. Can we agree on that? We can't. Okay. No, how would you identify her outside of a Democrat? Like, what is her?
She's just a Democrat.
What is her political?
Like, if she was a socialist, she would be advocating that workers own the means of production, and she's never advocated for that.
Okay.
I mean, she does want people to be able to join unions, and people should be able to join unions.
Dude,
over 60% of American workers want to be a part of a union.
No, I got you. I'm one of them, because I've been in the union, and even the people within the union, right? The idea is solidarity. I actually have people coming to me, stewards that were coming in, talking to me. I'm like 20, 25 years their junior, and they're coming to me and they're saying, hey, we don't think it's fair that the California Teachers Union are receiving the same benefits that we are, yet we contribute more to the Teamsters and to the union. I said, hey, brother, that's solidarity. Whether you like it or whether you don't, it is what it is. So if you sign up for that, you sign up at your own peril, right?
Right.
So my question is, and then I want to give other people an opportunity, man. I've appreciated your time.
People do want to come up.
I got you. So my main concern, and this is what I'll end it with, and I want to hear your response, and then I'll exit stage right. My main concern.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Lisa, for the $25 and $5 PayPals. I appreciate you.
My main concern is that when you manipulate money, which affects us all, the rich are always going to get richer, and the poor are always going to get poor, because, like you said, the executive doesn't make laws, and they have veto power, and unfortunately, they have executive order power.
Thank you, Tiffany.
The judicial doesn't make laws. The legislative makes laws. And unfortunately, because of the polarization, guys like you and me, right smack in the middle, which I would consider myself middle class. I might actually lean on poor, but it's probably middle class if you look at the bell curve. My concern is that no matter what happens, whether it's the increase of money supply, which is going to be the devaluation of the dollar, which does not hurt the rich, it hurts the poor and the middle class, versus saying, hey, we're going to lower taxes, which is the idea of the Republican Party historically, and we're going to, I don't want to talk about Trump and I don't want to talk about Kamala. I think it's bigger than this. I think that most people feel disenfranchised. And I think the main concern here going on is what do you do with the money? Mainly the Department of the Treasury and the Federal Reserve, which we are all affected by. And I'll end it on that and go ahead, man.
Yeah. Like I said, I think that what we need, like I said, I think that what we need to focus on, right, is making sure that the poor and the middle class are lifted up. And she has a Lift Act that she wants to put in place that will do precisely that. I think that there's good tenets. I think that you should go read the Lift Act, and it'll probably give you some insight on how, you know, we can lift up the poor and middle class. I don't want to use the same old rhetoric that, you know, a rising tide lifts all ships, but quite literally, if we can uplift
it can also sink all ships, by the way.
But if we lift up the poor and middle class, right, and we provide access to healthcare and equitable access to education, then we can, you know, get back to being one of the foremost leaders in terms of nations. And right now we're not.
I got you, man. I'm afraid.
Thank you, Jared, for coming up, bro.
Go ahead, man. Appreciate you.
All right. Have a good one. Who else we got? That's an interesting PFP. I don't think this person's going to load, so bear with me 1 second, chat. Sorry about that. Guys, let's tap the screen. We should be close to 1 million by this point. We should be, you know, approaching on 1 million. So please make sure that we're actively participating in the live. Thank you for those who have gifted yet again. I appreciate your support. Let's see who we got here. If you are not a Trump supporter, I'd appreciate it if you remove your request from the box. Casey Jones, what's going on, fellow Jones?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing okay, man. Have you had some water and said something kind about yourself?
Have I had some water?
Yeah.
No. And some tea.
Oh, okay. You don't drink water?
Oh, surely. But hey, that's in the daytime. Right now, it's like my time off. How are you?
I'm doing well.
May I ask where you dwell, dude?
What's that?
Where you dwell? Where you're home?
The United States.
Yeah, but hey, I'm in here in Nevada, Vegas.
Oh, Florida.
Nice. How's the weather?
Hot.
Hey, over here too, man. I know this is debate shit, so okay. If I may speak free. Yeah?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. A lot of this shit on TikTok, I'm new to the TikTok. So may I cuss? I'm sorry I cuss, dude.
I don't care.
I'll keep it. What a beautiful soul. What a free man. All right. I see all this shit. It's like Kamala and Trump and Kamala, you know?
Kamala.
Yeah. My apologies.
No problem.
What did I say?
It's okay. It's Kamala.
Well, my opinion is, hey, all these people never been to none of these places.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're like, oh, he did this, she did this, he blah, blah, blah. Not one of these people have any representation or visual quality on any of the shit that they speak of. They are, like, literally, if I may put it in nice terms, man, as Americans, it's brain-driven off television and fucking off the radio.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I think that's really terrible. Because a lot of the shit is bought out that's pushed in your face.
What specifically are you talking about?
Just it's not an agenda if that's what you're portraying. I'm just saying, like, a lot of the shit, they cookie crumble, they add and disregard mini segments on all the shit, whatever television show you watch. Unless you are there personally, dude, nobody knows shit. And a lot of these people are sitting there saying like, "Oh,
Well, yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier, bro. That's why I don't watch television. That's why I don't watch cable news. Like, I read my
if
news.
you didn't watch television, my man,
Huh?
you wouldn't know any of these folks.
What? No, yes, I would. What do you mean?
How? You never should.
What did
And this
people
is not
do before
disrespect. You
television,
actually-
friend?
How have you ever shook any of these people's hand? Do you know Donald Trump's birthday? Do you know Kamala Harris' birthday?
Bro, I don't know how that's relevant. I have been in the same room as Kamala Harris before. No, I haven't shook her hand. But with that being said, how did people get their information before there was television?
Because a lot of the shit, they'd show up to the place.
No.
Yeah, back in the day, how else would you know?
They would read the newspaper.
Okay, what if people didn't have news?
Y'all are something else, I tell you what. Yeah, I tell you what. All right, I don't think this person is going to load. Tyler, what's going on? How are you? If you had some water and said something kind about yourself.
What's going on, brother? Say something kind about myself? Not sure. I'm not sure what to say. What are we talking about, though? Is this politics? Why?
Hello, sir.
What's going on? How are you?
Very good.
Glad to hear it. Have you had some water and said something kind about yourself?
Absolutely.
Glad to hear it. What do you want to talk about?
Topic.
Okay.
Let's talk about it. Let me kind of read the top first so I can get a good idea of how I want to approach it. I get so scared of Kamala, their only argument is race. I don't think their only argument is race. I think their argument nowadays is now that Trump wants to do the debate on September 4th on Fox News, Kamala is backing out and still wants to do it on a predominantly Democratic ABC.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think that somebody wouldn't want to debate Donald Trump on Fox News? Why do you think that is, if you had to guess?
If I had to guess, it would probably, I mean, I don't know. I know most news stations are, or I think news stations should be like neutral.
They should be, but they're not. And we all know this.
But they're not, yeah. and we're all able to admit that.
Right.
But I know that some news sources, I know what some news sources lean towards. I know CNN and ABC are all Democratic. Fox News and I might be mistaken. Correct.
Thank you, Lori, for the $10. I appreciate you. Thank you, W. Lori. Guys, if you want to support me, all of my pay links are in the link tree in my bio. Yeah, Fox is not a news station. They made that very clear. And when the lawsuit was filed against Tucker Carlson, they are a entertainment channel.
I was like, is it because they got sued or what's up?
Yeah, because they got sued. How old are you, Fred?
I am 18.
Okay, when's your birthday?
3/12/06.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, is it because I sound like I'm 16?
Yeah, I don't know, but they were text messaging me.
Yeah, I know. I went into. Do you know Harry Sisson?
Of course, we're friends.
Yeah. He kicked me out of his debate because all of his supporters were saying he's not 18, and then when I put my birth date in the chat, they're like, "Oh shit, he's 18." Bring him back up. Never brought me back up.
It's all good. Jonathan, thank you so much for the $5 Cash App. I appreciate your support. So here's the problem, right? Like nobody wants to debate on Fox mainly because Donald Trump typically acts like a petulant child in these debates. He overtalks, he railroads the conversation, and nobody wants to engage in that type of dialogue. They want, a well moderated, discussion of the topics, and that's the way that a debate should be. That's the way a debate should look.
I mean, I can tell you that the reason Trump backed out of, quote unquote, backed out of a debate with Kamala on September 10th is because initially the September 10th debate was supposed to be
with Biden. What difference does it make? It's already booked. Why not just keep it?
Yeah, I mean, because he didn't know that Biden was going to back out until last minute.
Yeah, he also doesn't want to be fact-checked. And that's another issue.
Now it looks like that JD Vance is in a pickle because he now knows that Kamala is soon to pick her VP.
Mm-hmm.
I saw
JD Vance is not about to debate anybody. That I can assure you, Fred.
I mean, I saw that she picked between two is Shapiro and the governor of Minnesota or something like that. Mm. Which I think Shapiro doesn't make sense.
Why?
And, because Kamala does, it seems how this Israel and Palestine thing's going on
Her
right
husband
now.
is Jewish, so before you say something crazy.
All right, never mind. I'll forget that. Forget I even said it. Forget I even said that.
Okay. So do you want to make a point?
Do I want to make a point? I feel like this debate is basically...
All right. Try to give you an opportunity. If you are not a Trump supporter, please remove your request from the box. Please, please, please. Okay. What's going on, Christian? How are you? You had some water and said something kind about yourself?
How you doing today?
I'm hanging out, buddy.
Hanging out? Nice. Lovely to hear that.
Yeah. How old are you?
I am 26 years old.
Okay. Cool. What do you want to talk about?
I mean, I guess we can just talk about how what you have on your screen there, or just about like everything going on, especially now with the presidential debate, the presidential stuff going on really soon. So I think it's good to have conversations and not necessarily like bash each other or anything. I think it's always good to talk because if people don't talk, then that's when problems happen and things like that. So I'd love to talk about everything going on. So. I mean, do you have any questions for me, or you want me to ask you questions? I don't know where to go here. I'm sorry.
Who do you support, Frank?
Oh, you're good. I support Donald Trump.
Okay, why?
It's kind of the way I can best describe it is because I'm independent, right? I always see two sides to a story. Sure. I'm not saying that Trump is necessarily the best person to run for presidency, but I just prefer him over Miss Harris. I don't want to say her name because I'm going to mispronounce it and I'm going to get attacked, which I don't want to do. So I'm going to say Miss Harris.
Sure.
I just remember a time as well when Trump was in office. Everything was more affordable. Your grocery bill was more affordable.
Do you have a piece of paper and a pencil by any chance?
Do I have? I can grab one if you need me to.
I think you should.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I'm more than happy to. Are you going to teach me how to pronounce it?
No.
Perfect. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm sorry. I gotta scourge through my house here looking for stuff. I'm sorry about that. I don't mean to keep the live on hold here.
No, it's no big deal. They'll be fine waiting. They've been watching all this time anyway. Hey guys, thank you for tapping. Continue to tap. Let's try to get to 1 million likes as quickly as we possibly can. Also, if you want to support the channel, my pay links are all in the bio, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, and a tip jar as well.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's whenever you need to find something, you never can find it in the house.
Right. I dig it.
It's always just super convenient. I mean, I can give you I don't have the best memory, but I can try to. Is there
Gotcha.
something that you did want me to write down?
Yeah.
Or?
So when you get an opportunity, I want you to write this down.
Of course.
Dear Barack Hussein Obama, I, Christian, would personally like to thank you for creating one of the greatest economies in American history.
Okay. Well, I wasn't necessarily like old enough for the Obama times. Like I wasn't working. I was still in high school doing hood rat stuff, so I can't necessarily touch if he did fix the. He probably did. I don't have. You probably have the facts. I don't. So
Yeah,
I
we went from like one of the worst recessions since the Great Depression because of the deregulation and bad policies of George W. Bush.
Yeah, and I don't mean to interrupt. My apologies. I don't think Obama was necessarily a horrible president. I'm not sitting here,
Definitely
saying
wasn't.
like. No, he was. I think he.
Kimberly, thank you so much for the $25 Venmo. I appreciate your support. You're amazing.
But I mean, yeah, just to kind of touch as well. I just personally don't like Kamala Harris. I didn't like
Based
her.
on what?
No, you're good. I didn't like her comment recently when she was asked about inflation.
What comment?
She kind of like danced around it. Was like, like obviously you heard it where she was kind of like.
No, I didn't. That's why I'm asking you.
No, you're good. Yeah, she stated when she asked about how she's going to handle the inflation prices, she said our gas is high, our bread is high, eggs are high, and everything's kind of. She didn't like. It's kind of like just stating the obvious without like saying like, okay, we're going to implement this, we're going to do this to lower this. Like it was kind of just like, yeah, everything's high right now, we get it, and then just kind of like didn't touch on it.
You do know that she was like the deciding vote in the Inflation Reduction Act, and she does have outlined policies to address inflation. But a lot of this is corporate greed that we're experiencing right now. In addition to that, oil prices, the cost of gasoline can directly be attributed to Donald Jimothy Trump making the OPEC Plus deal, where he had them limit oil production by 10 million barrels per day. And so like, when you limit the supply, obviously, and the demand is high, obviously, gas prices are going to go up. And that was a 2-year deal. So for the first 18 months of Biden's presidency, gas prices were high directly, because of that. And then OPEC in 2022 said, hey, we made a shit ton of money by doing this, by limiting oil supply, because we have a corner on the market. And so they did it again. And all of these things are easily verifiable. As a matter of fact, there's the guy who writes the policies for the Shell company. He writes all of the global policies for Shell. You know who Shell is, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So I'm gonna let him tell you. Hold on a second.
Position that Donald Trump was even worse. And the argument I always get from Trump supporters is how great he was for the oil and gas industry. If you think so, you should have been here under his administration. Look up the oil crash, the great oil crash of 2018, and how Donald Trump got Saudi Arabia to flood the market with oil. One of the times he was asking them to increase oil production. Yeah, that increased bankruptcies in the United States, oil and gas bankruptcies, by 50%. You can look that up. Look up the great oil crash of 2018. And those articles from Forbes you like to show me, I don't need to see those.
Hold on, let me go back just a little bit.
And you're good. You can get a 2-year extension. Permits that would have been acquired during the depths of for 2020. In 2020, he negotiated.
Oh, here we go.
Your extension. Those are permits that would have been acquired during the depths of COVID. Nobody was applying for permits during the depths of COVID. That's not a thing. As far as your comments about Joe Biden asking OPEC for more oil, Donald Trump asked OPEC to increase production in every single year of his presidency, except for 2020. In 2020, he negotiated the OPEC 2020 cuts, and I don't know if you know what that is, but that is a 2-year, 10% production cut that Donald Trump negotiated with OPEC during COVID. a pandemic that was going to last for 2 weeks? Yeah, he negotiated the 2-year 10% production cuts. Those production cuts were in force for the first 18 months of the Biden administration. Those production cuts are why we had record oil and gas prices. Yeah. When Joe Biden went to Saudi Arabia to ask for them to increase production, he was asking them to just restore the production they were at under Donald Trump. He was asking them to undo the terrible OPEC 2020 deal, which is the worst deal ever made by any president in history for the American people. It is the direct result of the highest gas prices in history. It's the direct cause of it, I mean. As far as refining capacity, we had 141 refineries in operation when Donald Trump took office. When Joe Biden walked into office, we had 129. That means under Donald Trump, we lost 16 refineries. We still have 129 refineries. So
So there it is.
So, I mean, I guess if I could touch on that, I mean, at the end of the day, that was a great video. I think it's definitely helped me understand
He's
a little
the
bit.
foremost leading expert in oil. In oil. You might want to go follow him. His name is Mr. Global. You can find him here on TikTok. And Trump sold our oil refineries in the United States to the Saudis via his son-in-law.
Well, I mean, we're kind of not talking about like the bigger picture, right? Because like you said, like, right, with supply and demand. So in reality, when Trump was going against Biden, Biden stated that he was trying to remove fracking, which, as you know as well, like drills into the U.S. and everything of that nature. So from what I understand,
we drill more now than we ever have in history. We drill more now than any country on the planet.
So I mean, I kind of need like a source for that, because at the end of the day,
I'll pull it up for you. As a matter of fact, I might have it on my phone.
You're perfect. So I mean, my bad. I just want to kind of finish my point. But here's the thing, right? If that's the case, then why are they still high? Because under the Trump administration, everything was $2. And then I know you had the video. Now you're gonna kind of go back to that. But
it's called corporate greed, Frank. Here's the thing, right? You guys have been paying the gas prices, haven't you?
Well, my bad. One more time. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that.
You guys have been paying the gas prices, haven't you?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So what incentive do they have to lower them?
Well, I mean, plain and simple. You drill in the United States. You don't get oil from places like how you said Saudi Arabia and things like that. Which Saudi Arabia
we're a net export. We're a net exporter, but it's cheaper for us to import gas than it is to export gas. But we're a net exporter. Like we send out more oil than we get in. But because we don't have any refineries, it's cheaper for us to get gas from other people, to get oil from other people. I think that's the part that you're missing. And also, this right here is the gas price, the oil and gas price gouging bill that the Democrats tried to pass to get the gas prices down. As you can see here, 217 Democrats voted in favor of getting the oil and gas prices, regulated. And if you can see here, the Republican Party, not a single one of them voted to stop price gouging or oil or gas price gouging. Not a single Republican voted to help the American people, but 203 of them voted no. So that's that on that. You know what I'm saying? So like quite literally, you can blame the Republican Party for that, and you can find that on C-SPAN, just in case you're wondering where to get that from. Right.
Okay.
And then I'm going to show you how much oil we're drilling currently.
You're good. While you're looking it up, I actually have a question for you, if you don't mind, because I always like to ask people that lean a little bit more towards the left side. So I just want to know, why is the reason that you're voting for Kamala Harris? Like, what has she done for you to be like, you know what, I want that woman to run our country?
I mean, I can tell you a great deal of things that she did. And as the Attorney General, she had a program called the Back on Track program, where instead of sending people to jail for minor possession charges, provided they hadn't committed any violent crimes in conjunction with them, they could go into a work program, have their credit fixed, get into stable housing, so that they didn't have to go to jail. So she got them back into the workforce instead of in jails. Also, she lowered the recidivism rate substantially in the state of California. But then she has the LIFT Act. I think you should go and look into the LIFT Act, where she's trying to help people that make under $100,000 have access to housing, access to health care.
So, and I don't mean to interrupt, Mr. Jones. My sincere apologies.
Sure.
I work with healthcare. I work with Obamacare at the moment.
Okay.
That's what I do. That's my career. What I'm doing. So here's the thing, right? Because when Biden talks about like insulin and the cap for insulin, mind you, I deal with this every day.
Mm-hmm.
I deal with people that have diabetes, that have high blood pressure, etc. When they say that he capped it at 35, I've literally gone, and it's called the marketplace for people that have never that don't know what it is. So you can literally go on the drug formularies for some of these providers, like like Oscar, United, and if it's a generic name brand, yes, it will be a lot cheaper.
Generic is not there's no such thing as a generic name brand. It's either a generic or a name brand.
Oh, my apologies. You're right. I'm sorry about that. A generic prescription. Yes, you're right. I'm sorry. I misworded the term. So, but for name brand things, like some of these providers don't cover the certain insulin that these people need to take. Like I can kind of tell a story about a lady that
I'd rather not, but here's the thing, right? Like whether or not all insulin is currently $35. Kamala Harris is working on a healthcare plan that would allow more individuals in the United States to be insured. So this is the average annual crude oil condensate production from top 3 global producers by millions of barrels per day. As you can see right here, this is Russia. This is 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17. In all of these years, right? And this is in all of these years, we were below Saudi Arabia and Russia. Thank you, James. I appreciate you. In 2018, we moved above them. 2019, even further. 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. We're up to over 13.3 million barrels per day.
Which is higher than all the other ones.
Which is higher than every other country. Every other oil producing country. We are the largest oil producing country in the year in the world. United States produces more crude oil than any country ever. And this is the EIA. EIA, oh sorry, let me turn this so you can see. It's a government website.
I can see it. I appreciate it.
It's a government website. Just so you see, EIA.gov.
Thanks, Biden.
Okay.
And here's what I find crazy. I'm gonna be honest. What I've always found craziest about this Biden stop the oil production argument is, I mean, you don't think big oil is in Biden's pockets too? Like, come on, bro. Like, I get it. We voted for Biden. I get it. Biden did some good things. CHIPS Act, PACT Act, infrastructure bill, things we can get behind. He opened up the strategic reserve to stop OPEC price gouging. He did good things. He also did bad things, the things that I like, and I've never really been a Biden fan. And one thing is he's a moderate centrist guy, and he takes money from these oil companies as well. So the idea that Republicans think that moderate centrist Biden came into office and cut off his own nose to spite his face is crazy to me. He's not going to stop oil production when he also profits from big oil. Now, to his credit, he has made some movement in the right direction to get us more energy independent, which is great. I'm not trying to take that away from him either. But this argument from conservatives
Thank you, Stacers.
all the time that he is trying to cut off oil is nuts. It's nutso.
I mean, I have. If you want to go on another topic, I'm more than happy to. I mean, I kind of have nothing to say more about the oil. You kind of
somebody said Kamala's going to ban fracking. That's good. It messes up our groundwater. It poisons our ecosystem. We should end fracking. It's not good for us. We already produce enough oil without it.
And I just want to add a side note as well, Mr. Jones. Just personally, from me to you, you've been you've been great with me. You haven't been once disrespectful. Like most of the time was when I hop on these lives, I expect to get, I expect to be automatically labeled as a racist and part of a cult and things of that nature. And I appreciate that you treated me with the same respect. So I'm giving you a W for that.
I appreciate
so
that. Can I ask you a really serious question?
That's more than
Like,
happy
you know,
to,
I have children that are nearly your age, right?
Okay.
And so I would ask them the same question. So I'm asking you, you know, from a place of concern and love, right?
Of course.
First of all, I don't know what you meant by the hood rat comment, but I don't think that you should use that.
Yeah, I never said hood rat. I saw that in the comments, and I never said hood rat.
What did you say? You said I was doing hood rat things.
Oh, maybe I did on accident. My apologies. I didn't mean to offend anybody.
Cool.
I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm just.
The
my
second
apologies.
thing.
I didn't mean to offend anybody. I'm sorry about that.
Cool.
That was never my intention. That was.
I dig it. You apologize. You were good. The second thing I'm going to ask you, right? If some people invited you over to their house, you know what I'm saying, for like a barbecue or some shit, right? And you're all sitting outside, you know, having a beer, kicking it, and they start talking about Yahtzee shit, right? Like the Schnazis, like Schindler and them, right?
Yep. I get it. Your TikTok safe words, yes.
Yeah, right. So, and there's like 6 of them sitting down at the table, and they're talking, you know, Schnazi shit. Are you gonna stay there, or are you gonna leave?
Oh no! Listen, I don't condone that. I treat everybody.
Do you mind answering the question though?
No, you're good. I'm leaving. I'm walking out. I don't play that.
Gotcha.
Nah.
So when you're voting, right, for the same people that the Schnazis are voting for, that doesn't give you any cause for concern?
So, and I'm great that you brought this up, because I kind of don't like that the left kind of considers Donald Trump as the modern day Schindler.
I didn't mention anything about that. I'm saying literal Schnazis, right? In front of Disney. I live in Florida, so like literally in front of Disney.
I live in South Florida. I'm in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, so the Schnazis are in front of Disney like once a month with their flags, right? Their Trump flags and their Schnazi flags.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're voting for the same people that the Triple K and the Schnazis and other white nationalist groups are voting for, that doesn't give you any cause for concern.
Well, I don't label myself as that, and I don't condone what they.
I feel like you're not answering the question. Does that give you cause for concern? Yes or no?
If I don't support it, then no, it doesn't really, because I don't have to side. I don't have to side with them.
Right. So if they're voting for Trump, he must be saying something, right? That that appeals to them. Yeah.
I don't. If you can give me a certain quote, or that way I can explain it to you. But I don't know exactly what you mean by that. My apologies.
Yeah. So here I'm just going to give you a little history lesson. So there's a few people that Schindler went after, right? Prior to the Jewish people, like well before he went after Jewish people. One of those groups that he attacked regularly with people that were disabled. Another group that he attacked regularly was the news. He called it Lügenpresse. He said that was fake news.
Typical yellow hair, blue eye.
Yeah, fake news. Hold on, let me finish though. Let me finish.
You're good. My apologies.
Yeah, and then he went after what he said were Marxists and communists, and then he went after the LGBTQIA plus community. Back then they were just gay or queer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he went after all of these groups, right? Before he ever went after Jewish people.
Okay.
You see the parallels?
Yeah, what he's saying is, Christian, if there's an old poem, and I don't know exactly how it goes, but
I can read it.
Here's along the lines. Yeah, read that, because it goes like this. First they came for, but I'm not, so it didn't affect me. And Mitchell Jones will read it. But what I find troubling, as you said earlier, a lot of times when I go on these lives, they just label me as a racist and something else. I forgot what you said. But then I found out that you had said hood rat in the same live that you're probably being labeled a racist, Christian, because you are one. And so what you should do is
what? I'm gonna jolly good. I'm gonna stop you right there. I love everybody.
Hey, Christian.
I'm sorry, Mr.
Christian,
Jones,
hold on, friend. Oh, hey, buddy, you're having an amygdala response right now. Everybody is having like an even tone. And so I need you to bring it down, you know what I'm saying? Like it's late at night, you know what I'm saying? Like I need you to bring it down a little bit, okay? Let him explain what he's saying, and then you can speak.
Right. So you probably are one, just like I am, and most white people were raised in America, and it's an American thing. So deconstructing that and having some introspection and learning to dive in from whiteness, and that's probably a good thing to do, man. That's probably a good thing to chill on. And the thing about it is, when you start doing that, you start realizing, man, what other groups am I affecting? Because you said, I didn't mean to offend anybody, but that's a clearly offensive comment. Trump, the guy you're voting for, aims to affect a lot of groups, like women, like LGBTQIA+, like unhoused people, like very specifically trans people. There's a long list of people that Trump aims to affect. And so when Jones reads this poem that he's about to read, it's going to make sense that even if you don't identify with those parts of Donald Trump's platform, you are supporting it, and eventually that platform is going to come for you. That's what I'm saying.
Correct. So I'm going to read this really quickly. It's by Martin Niemöller. He was a pastor. First, they came for the communists, and I didn't speak out because I was not a communist. Then they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. And then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. And then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. And then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak out for me.
And that's what we're trying to tell you, Christian, is these other groups are being affected, and if we don't, as a collective, say no to fascism and no to oppression and marginalization, eventually we're all oppressed and marginalized.
Christian, you can unmute now.
Okay, you're good. First, I wanted to apologize for lashing out. That was never my intention. I just don't like to be labeled by somebody who doesn't know me fully.
Right.
And you know, it's one of those things, right? I don't want to be labeled as such. For example, Jolly Good, you don't know me. You don't know anything about me. I don't know anything about you. I don't know a lot about Mr. Jones. So I'm not going to sit here and automatically point a finger and say, oh, you're this, oh, you're that, because I think that's incorrect.
Hey, so
Now,
here's can I tell you something really quickly? Because like I said,
okay.
I have children that are nearly your age, right? Like, so again, this is coming from a place of kindness and concern, right? And so women often say men are shit. And I know, right, that in most cases that is the case, right? And so I don't contend it, right? I don't fight back because, you know, they're not talking directly to me or about me. I hear people say all the time that, you know, black people do X, Y, Z. And I know that, you know what I'm saying, like, I'm not one of the black people that they claim do these things. And so I don't even bother saying shit because I know they're not talking about me, right? And so, like, if I'm not the things that people say, I don't even address it.
I'll give
it's
it
a waste
to
of
you.
my time.
And I'm going to say the same thing Jones just said. I'm just from the mountains. I'm from the South. As you can probably tell from the beard. I grew up in the mountains of North Carolina. And we say it a little different where I'm from, but I'm going to say the same thing he just said. Hit dog always hollers. So, you know, just think about the fact that if the shoe didn't fit, Cinderella never would have married the princess.
The name of that poem is First They Came, guys. It's called First They Came. First They Came is the name of the poem. You can go look it up. First They Came. Yeah, so if it don't apply to me, I don't address it. People say shit about me all the time. All the time. You know, they talk about my sexuality, my gender identity, you know, my race, you name it. 99.9% of the time, I don't even address it. I don't give a fuck what y'all think about me. I don't know you. You don't pay my bills. You ain't feeding, fucking, or financing me. Why do I care?
Don't pay my automobiles.
Right, exactly.
I thought
exactly.
You were sorry. That's
Nah, it's my apologies. It's just I don't like. I mean, I can give you a details of my life. Like, I date a girl that's from Guyana.
Oh, Lord have mercy, bro. Come on, man. That's tokenization. All right, Christian. Hey, listen, hang out with me some more when you have time. Watch my live, and, you know, maybe we'll learn something together, okay? Love you, mean it.
There's hope for Christian, but right now you're voting for the wrong guy. There's hope for you, though, buddy. There's hope for you. There's hope. my bills, can't pay my telephone bills, can't pay my bills. Oh God.
What's up, Trump Daddy?
Jones,
Hey, what's
did you
up,
have to
guys?
say that?
Yeah. I think it's funny. I think it's hilarious, right? So listen, I've been saying for like a year now, and I guess it's starting to catch on. I'm not saying it's because of me. I'm just saying it's starting to catch on that these motherfuckers are weird, bro. Like super weird. Like my parents gave me a name, right? And so like that's the name I use because it's the name that my parents gave me. I would be fucking like, you couldn't pay me enough to put somebody else's name as my username. Now, if it's a name I came up with for myself, like a nickname I came up with for myself, then absolutely. But like to put somebody else's name to like make my personality, my online moniker, my online personality, somebody else's name is fucking weird, bro. That shit is nuts. So
No, I mean, not for nothing, but yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people have been calling them weird for a long time. And I mean, to Hillary Clinton's point, she clocked them in 2016. They're deplorables. I mean, these guys, they call us the sheep, but look, this guy has Trump, American flag, red hat, same flag, same shirt, same everything,
same bumper sticker, same doormat, same NFT, same bobblehead, same keychain,
same high top sneakers.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy, bro. It's crazy tail. Like, and then they line up in the little metal gates, you know what I'm saying, to go to the rallies, and these rallies are held outside in places they would normally hold, like rodeos and fucking, livestock auctions and I'm like,
literally, the one that was here in Virginia that I went to, the Chesapeake one, was held at a farm. It was a farm. And
facts. Well, you know why? Did you know why? Have you seen the map of all the places that he owes money to? And that's why he owes, I think it's over $2 million to venues across the United States. So he's not allowed to book any inside venues anymore because he won't pay his bills.
He doesn't pay his bills. Doesn't pay his automobiles. Don't pay.
Hey guys, we should be at 1 million. We just hanging out. There's like 5,000 people in here.
Yeah, tap
that screen. Tap that screen.
Hey, Trump, are you going to speak? Do you know you're muted? Maybe you don't know he's muted.
Yeah, I was just waiting for you guys to finish.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I was hoping that I use this name because it's obviously triggering and it gets me up on stages quicker, but I'm actually a moderate, and my name's Steve. So yeah. Anyways,
convenient. That's convenient.
I'm in.
His name is not Steve, bro.
That's convenient.
He's just saying that shit because I called him Steve.
I started the Steve movement.
Yes, you did.
For the record, I started the Steve movement. So that's convenient that you're Steve.
But that is funny though. I love it.
So I'm interested in why are you guys voting for Harris?
I'll be happy to go first. So I just held a whole live talking about this. So let me just give you a concise breakdown. Like I told everybody in my life, I said, in 2020, I didn't like Biden. I didn't. It wasn't my top choice. But I knew what Trump was about. Trump had showed me who he was. Trump had showed me that he valued loyalty over anything, and he valued his own ego over this country. The way he handled COVID put the nail in the coffin for that for me. I'd already thought it, but then COVID was it. And then he, incited an insurrection that made it even worse for me. And since 2021 till now, since that insurrection till now, he's become more dangerous in his language and more vitriol in his approach. He has said, "I'll be a dictator for a day." He has said, so I was equally unhappy that Biden was going to be running again in 2024, as unhappy as I was in 2020. But I said, I will hold my nose and I will vote for Biden. If you can vote for a convict, I can vote for a cadaver, because I know what Donald Trump brings to the office, and that's fascism. Donald Trump aims to end our democracy. If you don't believe that, you're not paying attention. And I said, I'm a never Trump guy. Just like J.D. Vance, I'm also a never Trump guy. But then an amazing thing happened. Joe Biden did something that Donald Trump will never do, and he put his own ego aside and put America first. And he stepped down, and he allowed a new generation of leader to step up. A leader who had been by his side for 4 years, a leader who I did vote for in 2020 when I voted for Biden-Harris, a leader who I did vote for when I voted in the Democratic primaries this year for Biden, because it was a Biden-Harris ticket then too. And then it invigorated people so much that $100 million was raised in the first 24 hours after she became the presumptive nominee. We saw a light at the end of the tunnel. I took my finger off my nose and said, maybe I can just vote and I don't got to hold my nose anymore. Maybe now there is light at the end of the tunnel, and it's light that's lit by the top of the flame of the Statue of Goddamn Liberty that Trump aims to shit on. Because maybe, just maybe, we can defeat fascism and do it in a way that makes me breathe fresh air again. And momentum started momentuming, and that's why Donald Trump's losing in every poll across the country, because Kamala Harris represents what we want to see. Something different, something fresh, some progressive movement in the office of the presidency. You've been running the same guy on your ticket on the Republican side for 12 years. Don't ask us why we're voting for Kamala. Ask yourself, why the fuck are you still voting for the same goddamn 80-year-old white guy? Thank you.
Who literally hasn't won a popular vote yet.
So are there any policies of hers that you like?
Oh, absolutely. I was just talking about the LIFT Act a few minutes ago.
Yeah, there's a lot of policies of hers that we like.
Is it, where are they available at, so I can read them?
Oh, so
they're not available. She doesn't have a presidential platform just yet.
No, she has them here. I'll show you where they're at right now. Yeah, hold on a second.
Luckily, I know the candidate well enough that I know what she stands for. I know what bills she promoted when she was in Senate. I know what she did when she was the Attorney General of California.
Here, so if you shoot me a DM, Trump Daddy. Oh, sorry. Hold on. Let me mirror this screen so you'll be able to see it. If you shoot me a DM, I'll send you all of it.
And is that a trusted source?
Absolutely. It has links to every single source. You see the links?
How did you acquire this?
Huh? Why does that matter?
Well, I have to know if it's how to.
It has links to every single item, friend.
What's with all that text then? Does that connect the dots or?
No, it's not connected dots. It literally tells you what it is, and then there's a link to it. Hyperlinks.
Document you'll be
Those are
sending
hyperlinks. Yeah, they're hyperlinks to every single thing.
Who wrote the document?
You see that? Hyperlinks to every single thing.
Is this like from her campaign or something like that?
Nope.
I'm just so confused. Did you write this document?
Nope.
So who did?
What difference does that make? It has links.
Is a big deal.
Oh my gosh. The links to the sources are in the document.
So Trump, there's a document, and then inside that document there's links.
Links to what?
Glad you asked. Hang on. This is progress, and we like progress. I'm a progressive. So the links take you to sources, which will verify the statement from whence the link came.
That's an official. That's her current stance. I know she's changed a lot on her stances. So if it's just like an amalgamation of like a bunch of her statements in the past,
no, it's not.
I need to know what she's running on.
No, it literally takes you directly to each piece of legislation or a breakdown of each one of those things. So each piece of legislation that she's ever presented, and each policy that she has recommended.
Like for example, name a Trump policy that you're excited about.
Well, I really didn't want to talk. I'm probably not going to be voting for Trump. I'm just seeing if I can vote for
I don't want to answer the same question. You have an American flag and Trump Daddy as your name. I never thought I was going to get you to vote for Harris.
Well, I'm in Pennsylvania, so I'm trying to decide.
Well, 85% of your state's going to vote for him, so.
Vote for Trump, really?
No, they're going to vote for Shapiro, who's going to be the vice presidential candidate after tomorrow.
So you're saying my vote doesn't count, or?
I think if you're going to vote for Trump, it doesn't count. Don't do it. If you're going to vote for Harris, it definitely counts. Do it.
Yeah, I'll definitely check out that document. That looks interesting.
Sure, yeah. Send me a DM. It tells you everything that she's ever done and everything that she is.
When do you guys think an official one that's on her website or whatever is going to be out?
Probably by the convention.
Yeah, I mean, she literally just became the presumptive nominee and got to put platform together. And I mean, I get that Trump had one. You know, what's funny about Trump is this is his third time running in a row. For 12 years he's been running. And up until he became the Republican nominee, he had an entire different Agenda 47 on his website, and he changed the whole thing the 2 days before the RNC. Right? He took all the videos down that he made, even though we all still got them. We saved them. The internet is forever. And so, you know, you're saying, oh, I know she changed her mind on everything, right? And so, like, have you seen Trump?
Yeah, I get it. I get like it's
if flip-flopping matters to you, if not having policies matters to you, you should not be voting for Donald Trump. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I also just don't think that it's appropriate to just vote for anti-Trump either. I think that
shit, when fascism is on the line, yeah, the fuck it is.
I think that's just extreme.
I don't think so at all. I think that anybody who can put their morality to the side and vote for not only a fascist, not only a convicted felon, but also an adjudicated rapist, is no friend of mine. That's for sure.
Well, that's just like your opinion, man.
No, none of that's my opinion. All the things I just mentioned are fact.
Yeah, none of those opinion.
If you say so.
Okay. All right. Well, have a good day, bro. Appreciate you.
If you say so.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah. Fact. Hey, what the fuck, bro? I find it fascinating that they're stuck on this, what's her policy? Like every other presidential candidate, she's going to release a presidential platform. But we also know enough about her to know what to expect on that platform.
Right.
And one thing that's always stood out to me about Trump is forever, even since 2016, when he goes and yaps on the mic, because, you know, he just yaps. He never talks policy.
Right.
We're going to end the border crisis. How? What? There's no policy.
Right.
It's just highlights.
Jay-Z 1222234. What's up? Okay, bro, you must be asleep.
Hey, for the sake of the chat, I don't think it's going to be Shapiro. I just wanted to fuck with that guy because he said Pennsylvania. I haven't liked Shapiro the whole time. I've been pretty vocal about that.
Catchman, what's going on, buddy?
Okay. He said, my bad. I want Pete Buttigieg too, so bad. I just want to fucking stick it to the goddamn bigots. I'm tired of, well, America's not ready for a gay man. America's not ready for a black. Fuck that shit. I want the bigots to know that your fucking voice don't matter, you bigots. God damn it. We're tired of fucking bigots controlling. It's got to be a cishet white guy. No, the fuck it don't.
I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, it seems like the vast majority of hey y'all, can we get a can we clear the box? Can we clear the box? And have, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody that's in the box looks like friendlies.
Hey Jones, go through and hit the X next to the accept button. It'll clear them out.
Hit the X next. Oh, okay.
Yeah, right next to the accept button. It's very tiny, but you can hit this little X and it'll clear them out. And then just opposition in the box. Opposition only.
What's going on, friend?
What's up, man? How are y'all?
Doing okay. How about yourself?
Man, I'm making it.
I hear that.
I'm actually working nights. I'm out here in California.
Oof.
But I am from Louisiana. And I had one question for you guys.
Sure.
If democratic voting at this point is the way to go, then why, when you look at democratic cities, like I said, I'm from Louisiana and I've been in California for the past 3 years, and I see these Democrat-run cities that are just hellholes.
Yeah, where does funding for a city come from?
Shoot, I don't know. Taxes?
From the state level. In addition to that, can I ask you another question?
Sure.
Did you know if you removed all the major cities from all the red states in America, they would still be more violent? Those states would still be more violent than any blue states.
If you what now? If you
removed all the cities from all red states, they would still be more violent than all of the blue states.
And how is that true?
Because I mean, the more guns you got, the more propensity it is for people to get shot.
Well, come on, man. You know that. I mean, most of your true blue, red-blooded, hard-working American people are not gonna. I mean, where I come from, I would take a wild guess and say that any given house you were to walk into would probably have 15 to 20 guns in it. And
yeah, and the more, and like I said, the more you got, the more likely somebody is to get shot.
Well, I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying, crime-wise, it's less where I come from. And when you come out here, and it's like, the more regulation you have on not only guns, but what is it, like environmental wise, like just regulation on business, on mainly oil and stuff like that, that it just seems that these democratic run cities are much worse off than the countryside where I come from.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Those Democrat-run cities are quite literally the reason why the vast majority of these red states and these people, these red folks, have, you know what I'm saying, like benefits and resources. Is literally can be attributed to these blue cities that you guys speak of.
Especially when the top 10 poorest states in the country are red states.
Right.
The top 10 what?
Poorest.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's no doubt. I mean, 100%. But most of your red states also don't have any of the big business stuff going. I mean, it's people mostly keeping themselves working small time stuff in small town cities, and that's also attributes to the lower crime rates and the, things like that.
What do you mean they don't? They don't have lower crime rates. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They don't actually.
But how do you? I mean,
here, I'm about to show you right now, and then you can go here and check it out yourself. Okay, I'm about to put it on the screen for you right now so you can see it for yourself. Because I think it's important that you guys know this, so that guys can stop using the same talking points over and over again. Because you know what I'm saying, like, so look, the 21st century red state schmurder crisis, right? Now, the red state schmurder rate was 33% higher than blue state murder rate in both 2021 and 2022. 2022 was the 23rd consecutive year that schmurder plagued Trump voting states at far higher level than Biden voting states. 8 out of 10 states with the highest schmurder rates in 2022 voted for Donald Trump in both 2016 and 2020. From 2020 to 2022, the average red state schmurder rate was 24% higher than the average blue state schmurder rate. Red states like Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, and America's murder schmurder capitals, and have had the highest 3 schmurder rates for 15 of the last 23 years. The excuse that high red state schmurders are because of their blue cities is without merit. Even after removing the county with the largest city from red states and not from blue states, red state schmurder rates were still 20% higher in 2021 and 16% higher in 2022.
So just out of curiosity.
Here, do you guys, oh, sorry guys, you need me to zoom it in? I apologize. That's all you had to say. All you had to say was zoom it in. I'm sorry. There you go.
So just out of curiosity, that percentage that's brought up in all those points, is that based on like per capita?
Yeah.
Or
so real quick, because I'm a stats minor and I like talking about this. The word percentage immediately takes into account per capita by virtue of the word.
Okay, I thought so. I just wanted to double check that because, I could see where that's comes from because there is such less people in the red states as there. Well, I say that most I would say most red states have less people. I mean, would y'all agree?
Maybe, I don't know. I haven't looked into the population difference of red state versus blue state.
Well, I mean, like all of Louisiana, I think the whole population of Louisiana is like 4 million people. And I think like San Jose is like twice that. So I'm just saying in general, when you're talking a percentage like that, I could see where it would come off that way because there are so many less people. You know, am I making sense or no?
Well, I mean, so here's the problem, right? Even if there was more people, like even if the population was higher, there's already the propensity for violence, you know what I'm saying, and the access to the pew-pews. And so the thing is, right, is that there's a good chance that the violence would just be that more exponential, not necessarily less. It would be more.
But also, I need you to understand. Okay. This is why I'm so confused. Percentage means it doesn't matter whether you got 4 million or 40 people. Percentage means like a 1 in, like 1 in 10. So if something happens 1 out of 10 times, whether you have 20 or 200 people, the percentage of it happening takes into account that population difference.
I see.
Right? So even if what you're saying is true, let's say what you're saying is true, and red states have less people, doesn't matter because the reporting that Jones just showed you was by percentage, which takes into account the per capita by default.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
So yeah, that's kind of where I mean, when me as a person sees you know, the Democrat run cities, and I see the
thank you, Miss Lover.
Just the I don't know, man, they're gross. You know, there's a lot going on out there that just hold on, there's a train going by. Sorry.
Yeah, but I grew up Republican, conservative,
thank you, Katie,
red state, poor mountain, rural country area like you did. And I used to also believe, ain't that good on city's got all the crime. No, dude, crime is a result of people. So wherever people are more concentrated, so also is crime going to be concentrated. But what happens is we conflate concentration with percentage, and that's not always the case, right?
Thank you, Stevie.
Something can be more visible because of the concentration of people without happening at a higher rate. So that's why it's important that we look at the statistics of it all, which is what Mr. Jones was doing, was breaking it down in a percentage for you, because when you look at the numbers, they don't agree with you.
Right. Jolly gonna get pissed off. Y'all keep sending them things.
Right? I mean, honestly, anymore, you can't hardly even Google something and like try to get, you know, an unbiased article of some kind. And that's all I want to do is find unbiased things online, especially like through Google.
Hey, listen, bro. Use Reuters. Use Associated Press. You know, use you know, things like that. That's what I would recommend. Use Al Jazeera. You know, BBC on occasion. Hey, like use sources, NPR, PBS.
But also ask yourself critical questions, like, if it were true, just challenge yourself. If it were true that just Democrat-run cities have higher rates of crime, why would the Democrats just do that? What do the Democrats gain by having higher crime rates? Honest question.
No, I have no idea. I mean,
exactly. It's a weird thing. Like, if that was a true thing, then even the Democratic Party would be having that conversation. Hey, guys, in all the cities where it's Democratically controlled, we have higher crime rates. Maybe we should stop that. So what you're suggesting is that Democrat leadership is just saying, fuck them. Like, it doesn't make sense.
I don't legitimately think that. What I would propose is that most of them are more focused on lining their own pockets than they are taking care of any issues that are.
You know, the vast majority of people that take money in Congress from major corporations like big oil, like big pharma and things of that nature are Republicans.
Right. No, I'm speaking for all of them, not just the Democrats.
Right.
I'm speaking for all of them. When they've got a major problem on their hands, you know, and nothing ever. Are you still there?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Something just kind of went quiet on me. Anyway, when you got a major problem on your hands, and you know you've got I don't know how many people are running this or that city, but when you got all these people that have this task to fix this problem and nothing ever seems to fix it, it just kind of makes you wonder, like, you know, what are they even doing it for? And, you know, you got career politicians out there. That is the main reason why I first started to want to vote for Trump, was because, in my opinion, he can't be bought by anyone other than himself and his own businesses. I mean, he's got plenty of money. He doesn't need any more. I just don't see. I mean, I know you guys have an argument. You say he's a fascist and this and that, but I mean, if he was going to want to be a,
if he has all of this money, why does he keep collecting money from you guys to pay like his legal bills and like the Stop the Steal and all of these other things? Like, if he has all of this money, why is he hawking Bibles and fucking shoes that you could buy on Temu? Literally, you could order these shoes on Temu. Like, why is he doing that? He doesn't have liquid assets. He doesn't actually have cash. Jenny, thank you so much for the $10 Venmo. I appreciate you. Hey guys, we only got 190 left in our goal for the night. There's 1,700 people, so that means if just a few of y'all sent $1, we'd already be there. Go ahead, Jolly.
Hang on, real quick. Hang on. He was saying I could go real quick because I want to answer your question. I love when people say he can't be bought, and that's why I vote for him, right? So watch just 10 seconds of this video. You ready?
Hold on, let me put it on the big screen.
Notice how the caption says, "I'm voting for him because he can't be bought." That's why I'm playing this video.
Thank you,
just
Michelle.
said that. Ready? Here we go.
He wants to get rid of gas-powered cars and replace them with all electric. They don't go far. They cost too much. They're all made in China. Other than that, they're fantastic. Listen, and I'm for electric cars. They have to be, because very strongly.
Did you hear that? Did you hear what he said? I'll back it up for you. Hang on.
He said I'm for electric cars, and then I lost it.
Elon endorsed me very strongly.
He said I have to be for electric cars
because Elon endorsed me.
Then he says after that, he literally says right after that, I have no choice.
Yeah. I mean,
I have no choice. That means, listen to me. That means he listed all the reasons he don't like electric cars. Then he said, but I have to say I like them. You know what that means?
Thank you, Camo.
That he's bought and paid for. That he's bought and paid for.
No, I don't think that means that he's bought and paid for. I just think
so Jay, hey Jay, let me tell you something really quickly. I don't know if you know the relationship between Musk and Trump currently. Dominique, thank you so much. Dominique in the chat for the $20 Venmo. You are amazing. I appreciate your support. So Elon Musk, right, is funding Donald Trump or supporting Donald Trump and funding him for two reasons. John, thank you so much for the $5. I appreciate you. One of those reasons is he's been taking credits from the government and using them to invest in Bitcoin.
You talking about Trump or
Elon Musk?
Okay.
And using them to invest in Bitcoin. And if Trump gets into office and crashes the economy and devalues the dollar, then Bitcoin goes through the roof. Also, he knows that Trump doesn't really fuck with electric cars, right? And so Trump will not push for, the investment into electric cars. And he already has an established, line of electric vehicles. But aside from that, he's lost a large share of his market share because other car companies have been able to make a whole bunch of electric cars over the last, few years. And so he's doing it so that he can, reclaim that market share that he lost and take back his market share. And thirdly, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I said,
sorry, it's lagging.
That's fine.
Go ahead, man.
Yeah. Thirdly, he's trying to avoid prosecution for the mismanagement of those funds, of taking those credits and investing them into Bitcoin.
Didn't you say that if Trump devalues the dollar even
Bitcoin
more,
goes through the roof. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
but that's illegal, bro.
Right, yeah. So, but is it? I mean, you may be thinking about something completely different than what I'm thinking, but isn't the dollar worth a lot less than it was when Trump was last in office today?
Not necessarily, no. That's not really
I mean,
that's not really how inflation works. I mean, yeah, you get less for your dollar. The dollar's not necessarily worth less because you know it's worth the same in the global market. You just get less for your dollar because of shrinkflation and corporate greed.
Okay, well,
Katie, thank you so much for the $5 Venmo. I don't know if I missed any other people. Sorry, I was talking, so I didn't get to pay attention.
I think the claim that I keep hearing in all these different lives, not necessarily yours, and that's why I wanted to talk to you guys so bad, because you don't seem to be, I don't know, as just rude, I guess, to all your people that get on here. But a lot of people are saying, you know, he's a fascist, he's going to try to be a dictator, he's going to.
All of those things are, in fact, you know what I'm saying? All of those things are factual.
But here's the thing, though. He's already been president for 4 years.
Yeah, and here's the thing, right? Here's the thing with that president for 4 years. He was testing the water, bro. He was saying, how much shit can I actually get away with? Nancy, thank you so much for the $10. He was trying to figure out how much shit that he could actually get away with. And now, right, that he's an adjudicated rapist and a 34-time convicted felon, bro feels like he's invincible because people are still willing to vote for him. He really said that I could, you know, shoot somebody in the face on Fifth Avenue and they would still vote for me. And people are just proving him right. And he had the Supreme Court essentially grant him immunity.
Yeah, I mean, I don't agree with his rhetoric or the things he says half the time. I mean, he's just talking out of.
So then why vote for him?
Because he ran it for 4 years
and was terrible at it, friend. He's the reason that we have high gas prices. He's the reason that, you know, that the price of groceries went up. He's the reason that real estate investment corporations were able to buy up entire neighborhoods and artificially inflate real estate properties so that people couldn't even afford to buy fucking houses anymore. And all of these things can be directly attributed to him.
But isn't it true that all these things that you just mentioned, maybe besides the housing market, have continued to go up over Biden's administration's time? I mean,
no, not necessarily. Gas prices were much higher 2 years ago.
Yeah, gas prices, but I'm talking grocery.
Yeah, absolutely. So hold on. Let me ask you a question, Jay. Let me ask you a question. If you owned like a corner store, right? Let's say you own a corner store, right? And you raised your prices and everything in your corner store 15%. And your business didn't slow down, are you going to drop the prices?
No.
Of course not. Exactly. There's literally no incentive for these corporations to drop the prices back down. There's no incentive. And they're making record profit. Look at the stock market. The stock market kept hitting high after high after high after high after high after high. Eventually, it was going to drop some, and today it did. But that's because the Fed has still not lowered interest rates, and the job numbers came back low. But the reason the job numbers came back low is because the Fed didn't didn't lower interest rates. So that's kind of like a whole circular motion, right?
Also, the reason for corporate greed is because one of Trump's executive orders was to roll back consumer protections.
Consumer protections, correct.
Otherwise, we wouldn't be in this position to begin with. And also, I don't know if you guys have seen the videos of Trump, and Project 2024, where it shows them saying that they didn't get everything accomplished with Trump's first 4 years. They didn't realize how to work with Trump because kind of he's dumb, and that they have a plan for his next 4.
So how does it, I mean, I understand that you guys have all these sources and you do all this research. I mean, I'm not that person. I'm just a regular working individual, and just me being
I'm
in
a
America.
working individual and a single mom.
No, I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to insinuate that you weren't. I was just stating that I don't have the time to do the research and do all these things and know the policies that he did or did not do. I can just say my pockets were more full when he was in office.
Yeah, you should be thanking Barack Hussein Obama for that, because he quite literally left Trump with one of the greatest economies in American history.
And I've heard that a lot, but like I said, I say I've heard that a lot. I mean, I see that a lot on social media and stuff, but I don't know what it really boils down to or not, me personally. But I mean, there was no new wars when he was.
That's not true, actually. Yeah, that's not true.
Where was the new war at?
Yeah, so Russia invaded. They annexed Crimea in 2014. That was under Obama, and then in 2017, they initiated a conflict in the Donbass region of Ukraine. So that was like the original, Ukrainian attack, because they actually had soldiers on the ground in Ukraine. And then they literally bombed a ship in the Azores while Trump was in office. And Trump didn't do shit. Like, literally, Russia was attacking Ukraine the entire time. Then we were in Syria and then in Yemen. So we were still in Afghanistan. And then he moved. There was conflict going on between Israel and Palestine while Trump was in office. And then he moved the embassy to Jerusalem on the anniversary of the Nakba. So a lot of these things that we're experiencing, he either could have avoided or he helped incite.
See, I mean, so what? I mean, you say like there was a
And also he dropped a record number of bombs, a record.
Yes.
So to act like we weren't in any wars is not accurate.
Well, that's not a. I mean, him dropping a bomb to kill a certain individual, it's nothing.
Bro, he negotiated with the Taliban and released 5,000 members of the Taliban, the same Taliban that we were fighting for 20 years. And then those Taliban people attacked our American troops when we went to go pull out of there.
But they didn't
all of these people in the comments, hey, mods, please, all these people in the comments who literally don't have any, who don't read, just get rid of them.
You talking to me?
No, I'm talking to the mods.
Oh. Anyway, the fact that he did drop the bomb is kind of what I appreciate about him, because, I mean...
But you just said we weren't in any wars.
No, we weren't, though. It wasn't a new war. There was no war declared over the things that Trump did. I mean, I'm just saying that to me, it was more.
Well, there's
like
no new wars under Biden.
Can I please ask him a question? I'm sorry.
Hey, there's no new wars under Biden, according to that logic. Go ahead, Justify.
I'm so sorry to interrupt you, sir. Thank you so much for letting me on your platform. I really do appreciate you. But your guest on the platform, John Knott, how you doing, sir?
I'm sorry, there's a train coming by. I can hear you, though. I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. And when I ask you this question, I'm not trying to be aggressive. I'm not trying to be rude, okay?
Okay.
So, well, I'm listening right now. You're a Trump supporter, correct?
Yeah.
And then Trump also said that he will allow different cops to not be indicted for what they're doing, correct?
Yeah, grant them immunity.
So, grant their immunity. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that, Jones. So, you not hear about the Sonia Massey case?
Yes, I did hear about that.
All right. So with that being said, you don't feel that it's wrong for him to say that? So that means you could do anything and get away with it then, basically. And again, it's not an argument. This is like, I'm asking you a question.
No, I don't. Obviously, I don't support that. And
Hold on, can I ask you a question? Do you think the officer that did that, was he wrong or right?
Oh, he was terribly wrong.
Thank you.
Regardless of whether the woman did throw the water on him or not.
She didn't.
I know she didn't. That's what I'm saying. Even if she would have.
But you just said that if she did throw the water, she never threw no water. Like.
Yeah, no, he's saying even if she did, it's not an excuse to shoot her.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's what I'm saying. There's two grown men in there. Apparently, the woman only weighed like 120 pounds. You got 500 pounds of grown man. I mean, at the worst, I mean, there's something you can do about it other than shooting the woman, obviously.
Now, sir, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Host, I'm so sorry. You mind if I ask him a question? I'm sorry.
Nah, go ahead. But then I got to swap you out because I don't want to make it an echo chamber.
All right, so my last question for you is like this: with that situation, do you feel like he should go to jail?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, but honestly, I don't know enough to say that if the president even said that, like y'all said, Trump said that he would not indict somebody who.
Yeah, he said he would grant them immunity so they could do their job.
He said it.
But is that like is he literally talking about that situation?
Bro, what does immunity mean? They just asked him. I don't know if you watched his interview at the National Association of Black
journalists.
Black journalists.
Jolly,
Yeah.
can I ask you a question?
Who, me?
No, can I ask Jolly a question?
Oh, sure.
If you don't mind. Hi,
Sure.
Jolly. How you doing?
Hi, how are you?
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
So I'm a follower of yours and everything, right? I appreciate your content. I think you're doing a good job, just like Mr. Jones over here. But when does it like hit home to you? Like, okay, how far do you go, right? Because you are a Caucasian man, you're a white man, but like, how far do you go into the whole story? Meaning, like, even Trump, even like saying Bassey and everything like that, like.
What do you? I don't follow the question. I apologize.
So, like, even the story about Sonya Bassey, right?
Yes.
It was a black woman who was killed. I'm sorry, who was by a white man, right? It's a lot of racial stories going on, and you are a good person known to the black community. When is it like hits you like, damn? I don't know how to say it because.
I mean, I can tell you firsthand because I've been, you know what I'm saying, boots on the ground with Jolly. It's never far enough. Like literally, it's never far enough. Whatever it takes, you know what I'm saying, to change the way we operate in society, Jolly's willing to go that, you know what I'm saying, to go that mile.
What do you mean? How far am I willing to go for what I believe in? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, because everything's going, and I don't mean to like be rude or I'm not racist, nothing like that.
I'm not offended. I'm not offended.
I'm sorry, so can I just go ahead and say, when white people act that way, right? I think it's a lot of good white people. I really do. It's a lot of nice white people. But when certain white people like mess it up, like.
So I think I understand your question, and I will say this. Number one, never be afraid to ask that question to me. I don't feel offended by it.
Okay.
I don't feel like you need to pat me on the back and tell me I'm a good guy before you. I don't expect you to trust me. Muhammad Ali said, if 10,000 snakes are coming at me, you tell me 1,000 of them won't bite me. Do I figure out which 1,000 it is? Do I shut the door and knock it off? Listen, man, don't trust me. I'm a white guy raised by white supremacists. Don't trust me. But what I will do is I will do what I think is right so that my kids don't get raised that way, so that my kids don't have to fight this fight, so that my kids don't have to pick up the slack that I left behind. So that maybe just, man, that's a lot of background noise.
John, thank you so much for answering that question. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you, Justified.
I don't know. I don't know how far I'll go. As far as I gotta go, I guess I don't know. But I just think that real life, there is an issue in America. I think that we've coddled white supremacy way too long. I think that we've worried too long about white people's feelings. I think that we have to move forward with progressive policies, and white people got to get the fuck over it, build a bridge, get over that shit. Stop trying to get the good sticker. I think that not being racist is not something to get praised for. That's the bare fucking minimum of humanity. And I think that, I think this country has a relationship with white supremacy that's unhealthy. And I don't feel offended when people question me as a white guy who benefits from that system. That's cool. I'm not worried about me. I'm not worried about your opinion of me. I'm worried about what my children inherit, and be goddamn if they got to fight the same fight that we're fighting now because I didn't do enough. That's how I feel.
Thanks, Jolly. Appreciate that. All right. Hey, listen. It's like 1:30 in the morning, and I got to get up and do dangerously early in the morning. So I think I'm gonna call it here. Jay, do you have any other questions, bro? Hey, guys, we only have $108 left. So if y'all want to be, you know what I'm saying, gracious and complete that goal before we hop out of here, I'd appreciate it. And I can't believe we didn't get to 1 million. We had like 6,000 people in here at one point, and we still didn't get to 1 million. Go ahead, Jay.
So one more question. You said you lived in Florida earlier, right?
Yep, I sure do.
Do you love it there or what?
Do I love Florida?
Yeah.
The weather, not the politics.
you don't like how Florida's like ran?
Fuck no, man. We had the highest inflation in the country for the like the longest period of time. It was terrible. Like fucking DeSantis was trying to kick out all of the immigrants from the state, so they stopped showing up to work. They stopped building houses. They stopped picking produce. You know what I'm saying? Like they stopped doing. They literally just disappeared. Like if just for a small pack of blackberries at the grocery store was like almost $8. It was crazy town.
Really?
Yes.
I was completely unaware of that.
One thing you better not do, J Knot, is get between Jones and his.
You know what's hilarious is my entire life, basically, I've been called J Knot in and out, just through high school and whatnot. So it's funny that you just said that.
No, but Jones is a craisins guy.
Oh, Jenny, you're amazing. Thank you so much, Jenny. Jenny paid $100 towards the goal. Jenny, you're amazing.
Wow,
Jenny
deal.
in the chat.
That's a big deal. Yeah, no, Jones is a craisins guy, and if you raise the price of his craisins, it's a wrap.
That shit will make me fucking mad. Because, like, a salad is not a salad without craisins on it. And a chicken salad is definitely not a chicken salad without craisins in it.
I don't even know what craisins are, but
You're a liar.
I believe
You're white.
you, though.
You definitely know what craisins are.
I have no idea, bro. I'm from the South. We don't eat craisins.
Yeah, is that like a dried cranberry or something?
Thank you, Alyssa.
Yeah.
Yes, it's like a raisin but made with cranberries. Exactly. See, you know.
Those are fantastic. I find them in those little protein packs.
Exactly. See. Exactly. See. Thank you, Genesis. Thank you, Heidi. Thank you, Alyssa.
I'm from Louisiana, where we pretty much eat everything. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing to say that that's good, but
Fucking craisins are lit, bro.
I don't want craisins in anything. I'll be honest with you.
well, I'm telling you, man, if you take a little bite of that meat, a little cracker, a little cheese with that.
Hey, yo, can y'all do like a 2-minute power tap? Can we hit that million real quick? I know y'all got it in you.
Let's do that. Let's hit 1 million. We've hit 1 million before. Everybody who's watching.
Yeah, we've hit 1 million like every time I've been live, like the last 4 or 5 times.
Getting to 1 million.
Here's how you do it. You tap the screen until the little heart bar fills up. If everybody watching taps it until the heart bar fills up, it's done.
We're there. We're 1 million right there.
Right there in like less than 5 minutes, I promise.
Yeah. Hey, listen, Jay, do you have any daughters by any chance, bro?
Man, I have 2 daughters, no boys.
If one of your daughters came home from school and said that the captain of the football team grabbed them by the vagina and kissed them in the mouth without their consent, what would you say?
I'd have to go stomp a mud hole in his daddy's ass, I guess.
Okay. And then what if that same young man was running for like student body president, and him being student body president would be beneficial to your daughter's school life? Would you advocate that she vote for him?
No, absolutely not.
Why not?
I see where you're going with this, but when you're talking like personal stuff and kids stuff, it's a different level. When I think of Trump, I don't think of him as a friend. It's not.
Bro, do you hear what you're saying right now? So if the woman's not related to you, you don't care what happens to them, is what you're telling me.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that.
I want to play a video for you right quick. I'm gonna play a video for you right quick. I just want you to see this.
Yeah, this is icky. Trigger warning, super icky.
I just want to play this video for you real quick. I want you to see this.
Super disgusting.
As he finds the video, can I
got
ask you?
Hold on.
You said you're in Louisiana, right?
This is crazy. Well, not currently. Yes, ma'am. I am from there.
Yeah. I want to play this video for you. This is me, by the way. So just watch this video.
Imagine recognizing your own cognitive dissonance and ignoring it anyway. You guys really have to watch this video. The following clips are from a TV show called Soft Focus on Adult Swim. In this particular episode, they were addressing the sexual harassment of women amongst gamers. In this experiment, each of the men were given VR goggles so they could experience an interview through the eyes of a woman. During the interview, the male interviewer committed heinous acts. Listen to what one of the subjects said.
You can take off your headset.
Cool. I wonder if that really happens in, like, business settings. It must.
I don't know, you think?
Did you learn anything from this experience?
Nope.
What did he say?
You think that men who harass women should be in positions of power?
Absolutely not.
It was for this brief moment that reality set in, and he realized that he had fucked up.
But I'm a Trump. I believe in Trump. I don't know if this is that, but are you guys making correlations with Trump voters versus?
No, you just did that yourself.
Yeah.
Women, at this point, it's intentional. They realize that he's a deplorable human being, but their self-interest outweighs your health and safety. First of all, choose the bear. Secondly, remember this in November. This message...
Bro, I want you to know, Jay, and I mean this sincerely. Guys, if you haven't seen that video yet, it's like the most current video. I want you to know, Jay, that quite literally, women are watching you. And regardless of whether you think that your daughters align with your beliefs, or you think that your wife aligns with your belief, or you think that your mother or your sisters or your cousins or your aunties align with your beliefs, I promise you that come November, a lot of you guys are going to be shocked at the results, because women are watching you to see how you operate in this election, especially after the overturning of Roe, especially after what happened on January 6th of this past year, especially after him being adjudicated for being a rapist. Women are watching. Women are watching.
40K away, dude. We get there in fucking 1 minute and 60 seconds. 60, 59, 58. We'll be there in 1 minute. We'll get to 1 million. Let's go. We're done. Yeah, J-Knot, dude. Like you said, you got 2 daughters. I got 3 daughters. And I personally, I take it offensively on behalf of my 3 daughters and my wife, and my sisters and my mother, that you want to take their bodily autonomy away from them, J-Knot. And I am more fired up about you not taking their bodily autonomy away from them than you are about taking it away from them.
That's what I'm upset about as a mother of 4 daughters and a woman. You, especially if you're from Louisiana, I personally am from Missouri, where we had the trigger laws. And, you know, we need to take care of our women. Your daughters are watching you. Your wife's watching you. The women that look up to you, they see how you vote and they see what you say.
Go ahead, J-Knot.
I don't think that, I mean, just because I'm on the right side of the aisle, I don't think that that I'm pushing for those things like you asked me about earlier, like if I would be okay with somebody grabbing my daughter by the vagina.
Bro,
and
what
like
you're
that.
doing is you're telling young men across the United States of America that even if you do these things, you can still be president of the United States. You're setting a standard that we cannot go back on. You're setting a standard that we cannot go back on. You're saying that it is okay for men to treat women as objects, you know what I'm saying, for, you know, their pleasure and for whatever it is, that whatever type of violence they wish to exact on them, and it goes unchecked. That is what you're telling young men.
Yep.
And that's what you're telling your daughters, because the next president will probably get to appoint 2 more Supreme Court justices. And Trump already said he's going to make sure they're young so they can rule the court for another 40, 50 years.
And so we're talking about no-fault divorce.
We won't be able to go back.
Okay, so this is probably going to cause me some backlash, but I do want to say that before 2016, when we were still trying to figure out the primary and everything, I was not for Trump in the slightest bit. And neither was anybody that I knew, really. And then he just became the primary, and then he ran the country for 4 years, and then he did all the things he did.
And then ran again, and I'm gonna tell you. Look,
but he didn't do a good job, Jay.
But also, listen,
he ran up the debt.
Jay, Jones is trying to end his life, so I'm gonna keep this very concise. Democrats fall in love, and Republicans fall in line. And so what you just said proves that. And that is, you didn't want to be with Trump, but you were told to get in line, do what you're told, don't think for yourself. And that's a problem. And by the way, when Jones says you're promoting a guy who does XYZ, this is the 3rd time in a row you've done it. For 12 years, he has been your candidate. It is abundantly clear that there's no secrets about it. This isn't his first run. We're not learning new things about him. We know exactly who he is. Maya Angelou says, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them.
Fact.
Donald Trump is a fascist. Donald Trump has no morals. Donald Trump hates women. Donald Trump is a racist. Donald Trump is a white supremacist. Donald Trump wants to be a dictator, and he's told you as much. He will be a dictator on day 1. You keep wanting us to not hear Here's what we're hearing from you guys. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Right.
Well, guess what? I'm not going to listen to the man behind the curtain. I want to be the tin man with the brain and the lion with the courage and the guy with the heart, because the Republican Party is asking me to vote against everybody else's special interest in interest of my cishet white status, and I say fuck you. All right, I'm out.
Thanks, Jolly. Hey, Bone, you want to take us out real quick?
Yeah, man. I just want to say this real quick. I know you're about to close out, but I used to run like a security joint, right? I used to do security for clubs and events, right? Jay, you still there?
Yes, sir.
I just want to give you a quick. This is not an analogy. This is something that is really happened all the time. All right. I just want to give this to you quick. All right. So a guy walks into the club. He's got a chip on his shoulder. He's pissed off. Him and his buddies, right?
Right.
And so there's 5 of us working security that night. The club is packed. All right. It's literally 2 to 1, 2 women to every 1 guy in the club. This happened all the time on a Saturday night, right? And the guy walks around the club, okay? And him and his buddies, particularly him, is shouldering every dude looking for a fight. He's hitting them hard with the short as he walked by. He's grabbing women, like literally grabbing women by the butt when they walk by and all this, okay? Now, if all 5 of us security guys, for every person that came up to us and told us what he was doing and we saw him doing it, if we never take him and his buddies out of the club, what are the patrons going to think?
I guess they're going to think that you're not really doing your job. You don't really care about your job. You don't care to uphold
You think
your
they're
end of
going
the
to
deal.
think that we don't care about our job, or you think that we're going to or you think that they're going to think, hey, they condone this. It's okay for people to do this here.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, they're not going to think we don't care about our job first. They're going to think, oh, it's okay for us to act like this here, right? Now, who is going to think it's okay for us to act like this here? The rest of the men, right?
Yeah, I mean, everybody, especially if the women are not enjoying being groped.
Well, the rest of the men in particular, right? Because the women are the ones being groped, correct?
Right.
Okay, so then what's going to happen on Saturday nights in that club? Who's going to stop coming?
The women.
Uh-huh. And then who's going to stop coming after that?
Everybody, the men.
Exactly. So when you say, I'm just giving you this analogy, right? I'm not trying to stump on your head. But when you say, oh, well, you're talking like he's my friend or something like that. He's not my friend. He's just someone I'm going to vote for. I didn't know these guys. They weren't my friends. They weren't my buddies. These were people who were customers who came in and acted like assholes. And what do you think we did to them?
I'm going to hope that you drug them out of there.
Once again, yeah, we drug them out of there. Sometimes we had to fight them out of there. We would always win. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I hear you. It's just
so it's your responsibility to care about other people more than just yourself and your singular surroundings. It's my responsibility to do the same too. It's all of ours, because we literally live in something that's called a community, despite the fact that we have forgotten what the word community means.
Well, I don't know if I've ever said this in this chat, but I've tried to. Just in my personal experience, whenever like Jones, you keep saying that he's riding Obama's economy and this and that, but just me, since I'm 29, so since I've been out doing my own thing and everything, I succeeded the most under Trump. I know that.
Yeah, but that, like, I don't like that. Hold on, man. I don't know why this is such a difficult concept to understand. It doesn't matter if you succeeded under Trump. Like, we're still under Trump's tax plan, so nothing's changed in that regards. I can point to you. I can literally give you, you know what I'm saying, documentation. I can give you expert, you know what I'm saying, analysis on how it, you know what I'm saying, these things that have happened can directly be attributed to him. I can give you expert analysis that shows the data that he didn't pass any legislation to make the economy better while he was in office. What legislation did he pass that would have made the economy better?
See,
gas prices were cheaper. Gas prices were cheaper in Barack Obama's last year in office than they were in Trump's first year in office.
Okay, you said Obama's last year in office compared to Trump's first.
Correct.
Well, how about Trump's third?
Trump's third. That was COVID.
Lower prices. Obama had lower prices than even Trump's lowest. Look it up.
Yeah. Obama had lower prices than even Trump's lowest. It never reached the lowest price that Obama had while in office. Never.
Yeah, never. Jay-Not, I want you to realize something. I told you the story about.
He never. Hold on 1 second, Bo. He never did the healthcare plan that he said it was going to come in 2 weeks. He never built the wall. You know what I'm saying? He never did the infrastructure bill that he said will be here. We're working on that infrastructure bill. It's coming. It's on its way. We're working on the infrastructure bill. Oh, we're going to get rid of the ACA and we're going to replace it with something much better. He never did any of the things that he said he was going to do. Like literally none of them.
Did he not start building the wall, or am I wrong on that?
Yeah, he got like 12% of the wall done and spent billions of dollars. An 8-year-old girl scaled the wall up one side and down the other in less than 2 minutes. An 8-year-old girl.
They build those little slat walls where you can literally just get a grip on the sides and just scrunch yourself right up the wall.
Like it was a waste of time. It was a waste of time and taxpayer money.
All that money. It was.
And he said Mexico was going to pay for it, and Mexico didn't pay a dime for that damn wall.
Yeah, I knew that.
And typical,
like none of the things that he said he was going to do, did he do?
My bad.
Go ahead.
And typical of U.S. construction companies, U.S. contracting companies, they railed for all that money and built absolute piece of shit. How do I know this?
Pieces of it fell the fuck down.
Worked with the government. And saw contracting companies from the U.S. completely rip the U.S. people off all the time. Even overseas companies that were brought on military bases. It's a constant, yo. But Jay-Not, I want you to just think of something. I talked about a community aspect. I talked about how we as a community